Chapter 223. The low-level mirage beast was entirely black, with shiny black fur, strong limbs, slightly arched lower body, a pair of brown sharp beast eyes, vigilantly watching the surroundings. That mirage beast was a leopard-type mirage beast, about the size of two giant tigers. Apparently, it had sensed the threatening atmosphere around it. The perception of a magical beast was hundreds of times higher than a human's. The mirage beast was even more vigilant, sensing the strange atmosphere from afar. Its entire body was stretched straight, in a defensive posture. Get into formation, the mercenaries in front attack from the left and right go. Once mercenary Tuan Tuan gave the order, more than 40 mercenaries pounced forward. Roar! The low-level mirage beast's huge body leaped backward, avoiding the mercenaries' attack, and let out a sharp roar. Finish it quickly. Its cry will attract other mirage beasts. The leader's face was cold, decisively commanding another team to rush forward, to block the mirage beast's mouth. The power of a mirage beast was enough to match two earth-profound cultivators, even if it was a low-level mirage beast. But this leopard-type mirage beast was obviously a battle-type mirage beast. Despite its huge body, it was as agile as a monkey, dodging the attacks of the mercenaries one after another. While avoiding the attacks, it opened its huge mouth. Its sharp fangs mercilessly bit on the mercenaries' shoulders, and immediately lifted its huge leopard claws, trampling down fiercely. Several mystic profound cultivators were bitten by the leopard-type mirage beast, bleeding profusely, screaming endlessly. Human blood stimulated the mirage beast's sense of smell. That pair of sharp beastly eyes suddenly flashed, its claws pouncing even faster and more ruthlessly. In the dark, Yiqing Luo turned to look at the man beside her. Do you think this team of mercenaries can tame this mirage beast? If they can, what are you going to do? Dmo Xian raised his eyebrows and asked. What would he do? Yiqing Luo's vision returned to the agile leopard-type mirage beast. That black leopard-type mirage beast constantly changed its position, and at the most appropriate time, attacked the mercenaries. One by one the mercenaries fell. On the other hand, it had only suffered some superficial injuries. If this magical beast were to be killed and Lung Feng Hua took out its magic crystal, it would indeed be somewhat unbearable to watch it get killed. Luo is a kind-hearted girl. Dmo Xian's big hand covered Yiqing Luo's head. His long and narrow eyebrows were curved, and the corners of his mouth held a gentle smile. Kind-hearted? This was the first time someone had used these words to praise her. She knew that she was not a kind person. Everything he did was just following his heart. Unexpectedly, the leopard-type mirage beast that she admired a little, in Dmo Xian's eyes, turned out to be kind-hearted. Yiqing Luo laughed lightly. In that case, you also suggest me to make a move? Dmo Xian gave an enigmatic smile. That smile, Yiqing Luo couldn't understand it. After a moment of silence, Dmo Xian's thin lips moved slightly as he faintly said, "He's here." Just as he finished speaking, the entire magical beast forest suddenly shook and the mountains shook. Immediately, a few deafening roars were heard, and the ground shook even more violently. The originally empty magical beast forest, with only one low-level mirage beast, suddenly, a large number of magical beasts and mirage beasts swarmed out. Those magical beasts and mirage beasts' size, some were taller than a tree, and some were so huge that it was shocking. One by one, they were madly trampling on the ground, making a loud roar. Those mercenary groups were scared silly by this lineup. Chapter 224. Your Highness, what's going on? Yiqing Qian was so shocked that her beautiful face turned pale. Both her hands tightly hugged Lung Feng Hua. Even Lung Feng Hua was so shocked that his face turned pale. He wanted to run, but the woman in his arms held him tightly. It's a beast tide. It's actually a beast tide. The mercenary group leader stared at the group of beasts in disbelief. Leave quickly. Immediately, the leader leaped up and came to Lung Feng Hua's side. Both hands carried the two stupefied employers, and quickly moved to the side of the big tree. This team of mercenaries were well trained. After the leader's command, they immediately made the corresponding judgment. One by one, they quickly retreated and scattered in all directions. Silver Plate Mercenary Group. Their reaction is really good. Dmo Xian stared at Lung Fenghua, who was hiding on the opposite branch, who was rescued by the leader. Mercenary groups were also divided into different classes. The Mercenary Association divided the mercenary groups into bronze, silver and gold plate mercenary groups, according to the overall strength of the group. Yiqing Luo did not expect that this team of people would turn out to be a silver plate mercenary group. Yiqing Luo thought that a mercenary group that was toyed with by a low-level mirage beast would at most be a bronze plate mercenary group. But these mercenaries, in the face of the beast tide, behaved in an orderly manner, completely different from the helpless look earlier. Yiqing Luo's eyes roamed around the group of beasts, trying to find the trace of the leopard mirage beast. That large wave of beasts trampled over the place where the mercenaries stood and rushed forward. Everywhere he went, the lush trees were sent flying, and the ground trembled from his stomps. Countless cracks appeared on the ground. That leopard mirage beast was so clever. It shouldn't be crushed by this group of beasts, right? Soon, Yiqing Luo found that leopard mirage beast. Because that leopard mirage beast ran in a completely different direction from the group of beasts that kept rushing forward. It quickly ran to the back of the group, its head twisted, and its sharp eyes looked around. That pair of eyes revealed a sense of anxiety. Suddenly, it stopped running, as if it had seen something in the herd of beasts. It immediately rushed forward and ran to its destination. Soon after, like the herd of beasts, it began to run forward without stopping. Yiqing Luo could see it very clearly. The leopard-type phantom beast was looking for a group of leopard-type phantom beasts. Obviously, they were its family. Those leopard-type mirage beasts were as huge as mountains. With one look, one could tell that they were definitely high-level mirage beasts. Originally, he thought that the low-level leopard-type phantom beast was already big enough. He didn't expect that these high-level phantom beasts of the same species were actually several times bigger. The family members of this small mirage beast were all high-level mirage beasts. Just now, it roared so loudly during the fight, but these high-level mirage beasts actually didn't come? The small magical beast followed the speed of the other magical beasts, and its mouth kept opening and roaring. However, the few high-level magical beasts around it did not even look at it. After running for a while, one of the high-level phantom beasts seemed to be annoyed by it. It suddenly turned its head and growled at the little phantom beast. The body of the high-level mirage beast collided with the small mirage beast. These illusionary beasts were several times the size of the small illusionary beasts. With this collision, the small illusionary beasts simply could not stand steadily. Its forelimbs staggered and rolled on the ground. There was still a large wave of beasts behind it, and they did not stop running. One by one, they seemed to not see the small mirage beast and directly stepped on it. The small mirage beast dodged in a hurry, but was still stepped on, and let out a mournful cry. Chapter 225. That low-level mirage beast is injured. Now, Lung Fenghua, who was standing on the branch with Yiqing Qian in his arms, stared greedily at the little mirage beast howling on the ground. The heavens were probably helping him in this beast tide. The little mirage beast, which had been injured by several people, was now trampled by its own kind. The little mirage beast with an injured leg could not escape from their palms. Below, the beast tide was still going on. The mercenary group leader frowned and stared at the group of beasts with a solemn face. As a mercenary group, he would check the situation clearly before taking on the mission. It was reasonable to say that there would be no beast tide in the magic beast forest today. The formation of this beast tide was not simple. Your Highness wants you to kill that low-level mirage beast now. Do you not want to complete the mission? Seeing that the leader was not paying attention to him, Lung Fenghua roared with a gloomy face. The leader frowned. Your Highness, this beast tide is very strange. If we go down rashly, I'm afraid. What's strange? You don't know how to grasp such a great opportunity. If that low-level mirage beast runs away, Your Highness will kill you. Lung Fenghua interrupted the leader's words. His eyes were fixed on the low-level mirage beast, which was limping to the side and staring at the group of beasts. In his mind, He had rehearsed the scene of killing this low-level mirage beast countless times. As long as he killed this low-level mirage beast, he would be able to get its magic crystal. The royal family was getting more and more despicable because of the age of the monarch. He was the eldest son of the emperor, and also the most talented among the princes. Therefore, he was given high hopes since he was young. He thought that he would be the first among the princes to advance to the earth-profound realm. Unexpectedly, he was stuck in the mystic profound 9th grade realm. This had made him extremely depressed. But as his future crown princess, Yiqing Luo was doing very well. Admitted to the Heavenly Academy, famous in Three Springs City and even so intimate with the overlord. When everyone mentioned Yiqing Luo, they would not think of him, the crown prince, but the overlord. This was simply putting a green hat on his head, and he could only accept it obediently. The unwillingness of stagnating and the rage of being betrayed by Yiqing Luo had stimulated Lung Fenghua to immediately advance to the earth-profound grade, so that he could sweep away the humiliation in front of Yiqing Luo. As long as he could obtain a magic crystal, he would have a chance to break through. The leader gritted his teeth, called his mercenaries and leaped down. The horde of beasts surged forward one after another, showing no signs of stopping. The entire magical beast forest was shaking. The trees were smashed into pieces and fell to the ground, kicking up a storm of sand. As far as the eye could see, there were at least 1,000 of them densely packed together. The mercenaries felt their scalps go numb. They held their weapons and were a little timid. If it was just one or two magical beasts or illusionary beasts, they could still brace themselves to deal with them. But a large group, thousands of magical beasts and illusionary beasts. Fortunately, the magical beasts and illusionary beasts were charging forward in waves. They did not notice the few nobodies beside them at all. Dozens of mercenaries groped their way towards the direction of the little mirage beast. And that little mirage beast, which had keen senses, did not seem to notice the mercenaries approaching. It lay on the ground, looking at the wave after wave of beasts, letting out a low whimper. Its huge tail swayed a few times from time to time. That pair of beast eyes was covered with a layer of gray. Chapter 226. Such a look reminded Yiqing Luo of her past self a long time ago. It was the same, standing on the street every day, hoping that her father would turn back and take her away from those old men. But the initial expectation turned into despair. She never saw the man whom she called her father, but was a stranger to her. The little mirage beast at this time was just like her at that time. In her heart, there was an inexplicable emotion boiling, driving her to do something. At this time, dozens of mercenaries had approached the little mirage beast. The leader first approached and saw that the little mirage beast was in a trance, totally not noticing them. His face turned solemn and commanded in a deep voice, "Release all profound grade, kill it in one fell swoop." Dozens of mercenaries understood. One by one, profound chi broke out of their bodies, raised their weapons, and attacked the direction of the little mirage beast. Suddenly a whirlwind blew past. Soon after, a red shadow that was like a blazing sun flashed past his eyes. Boom, boom, boom. The ground around the little mirage beast was scratched with several cracks in the air. As the ground sank, the little mirage beast suddenly regained its senses. Even though one of its legs was injured, it still stood up nimbly and quickly leaped. The ground where it stood just now suddenly collapsed. The mirage beast in their hands just flew away like that. Dozens of mercenaries all stared with their eyes wide open. They only saw that the red shadow that alarmed the little mirage beast turned into a whirlwind and spun back to a tree. A fair little hand firmly caught that red shadow. Everyone then saw clearly that was actually a red fan. A fan? Could it split the ground? Make the ground sink? Who is it? The leader was shocked, vigilantly looking in the direction of Yiqing Luo. He was shocked. Someone was following behind them, and they actually didn't notice. Who exactly was it? Under everyone's shocked gaze, they saw a woman in a plain white dress, covered with red muslin, leaping down from the branch. Following the woman's movement, the white dress, like a blooming white lotus, floated lightly. The woman stood steadily in front of the little mirage beast, her posture outstanding. Everyone's gazes converged on her in unison. Immediately another figure jumped down from the branch and landed beside Yi Qing Luo. His black hair fluttered on his shoulders. His loose white robe was slightly open at his chest, revealing a bit of his muscular skin. He looked extremely lazy. "It's you guys?" The leader narrowed his eyes. Weren't these two the couple he had seen at the edge of the 5th level? Clearly, it looked ordinary, without the slightest bit of advantage. He didn't expect them to be two unworldly experts. "It's you guys again." Lung Fenghua frowned, his eyes filled with malice. Just now, it was this woman who had disturbed the low-level mirage beast. Otherwise, the mercenary group would have succeeded. The dozens of mercenaries were also burning with anger. Just a little bit more, and they would have been able to exchange this little mirage beast for 500 gold coins. The leader opened his arms and stopped the restless mercenaries. He looked at the two of them warily. They dared to come to the inner part of the 5th line with just the two of them. If they didn't have absolute strength, they wouldn't dare to take such a risk. "Why did the two of you make a move?" After a moment of silence, the leader asked. Yi Qing Luo raised her eyebrows and smiled. The feather fan in her hand covered half of her face. "This little thing, we want it." The blunt words made Lung Fenghua's chest surge with anger. Chapter 227. What a coincidence. I don't have the habit of giving away the things I like to others. Yi Qing Luo's pink lips rose slightly. Her long and narrow eyes were curved, glistening. It was totally different from that extremely ordinary face. Staring at that pair of eyes, Lung Fenghua felt a chill in his heart. Why did it feel a little familiar? Yi Qing Luo waved her feather fan, leisurely turned her head, and looked at the leopard-type mirage beast that was standing not far behind, staring at them vigilantly, revealing an amiable smile. Are you willing to leave with me?" The little mirage beast first stood up. Its beast eyes became even sharper. Its mouth kept emitting a roar warning growl. "How dare you? Do you know who you are talking to?" Yi Qing Qian reprimanded, and walked quickly to Lung Fenghua's side. "This is the current crown prince, you two commoners. How dare you compete with the crown prince for the mirage beast? What crime do you deserve?" Yi Qing Qian's face was sullen. Her gentle eyes were also covered with solemnity. Lung Fenghua puffed out his chest under Yi Qing Qian's imposing words, both hands behind his back, displaying the posture of the crown prince. After getting used to seeing Yi Qing Qian's gentle and pleasant look, suddenly seeing her acting like a motherly model, it was a different feeling. Lung Fenghua stared at Yi Qing Qian's gaze, revealing some meaning. "Crown prince?" Yi Qing Luo sneered disapprovingly. "So what? As long as it's something I want. Even if the emperor comes, I will not give it up." This indifferent attitude made Lung Fenghua, who was used to being flattered, suddenly turn gloomy. Yi Qing Luo even smiled at him provocatively. "Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. This prince wants to see just how great your ability is." Lung Fenghua clenched his 5 fingers, suddenly opened up, and released a palm wind, sweeping towards Yi Qing Luo's direction. That palm wind, the imposing manner was like a rainbow, rapidly approaching. The mystic profound 9th grade realm was indeed different from those low-level cultivators. This imposing manner set off a powerful fluctuation, like a sharp blade, piercing through the air, directly into one's skin. Yi Qing Luo's pink lips curved slightly, didn't dodge. The feather fan on her fingertips rotated a few times, sweeping a sunset afterimage, colliding with that palm wind. Rumble! A huge collision sound exploded in the air. 2 majestic waves of profound qi surged in the air like the eruption of primordial power. One wave after another, they rolled in the air. Bang! It exploded. The ground, which was already cracked and sunken, was blasted into a huge crater. The magical beast forest was shaken once more. You can actually take my palm?" Lung Fenghua stared at Yi Qing Luo in disbelief. His chest kept heaving up and down as his eyes shot out a vicious look. He was about to step into the Earth Profound Realm, and his current strength was above most of the 9th grade mystic Profound Realm practitioners. This woman actually managed to block his palm strike? Yi Qing Luo sneered. Just as he was about to turn around and approach the small illusory beast, his waist suddenly tightened. The man held her waist domineeringly and said in a low voice, "Your task today is not him." Following that, Yi Qing Luo felt her body turning light. The man had already picked her up. The little mirage beast was stunned for a moment before it leapt up, and followed behind Dmo Xian. Before Lung Fenghua and the rest understood what had happened, they suddenly heard a burst of chaotic footsteps coming from behind them, only to see that the group of beasts that were constantly rushing forward seemed to have received a great stimulation. One by one, they stopped their collective rush forward. Instead, they ran around, rampaging through the entire magical beast forest. Chapter 228. Yi Qingqian's little face turned pale, and subconsciously hid in Lung Fenghua's arms. No matter how talented she was, she still had the temperament of a little girl after all. She was afraid that Lung Fenghua would misunderstand her as a coward, so she stuttered. "Quick! Protect His Highness!" The leader immediately retreated to Lung Fenghua's side, and raised the axe in his hand to fight against the magical beasts and mirage beasts. "Your Highness, let's go!" Wave after wave of magical beasts and mirage beasts. Even if the gold medal mercenary group came, they wouldn't be able to handle it. Several mercenaries didn't even have the ability to resist, and were torn apart by those magical beasts. The leader's face was gloomy. He fiercely suppressed his desire to avenge his brothers, and protected Lung Fenghua and Yi Qingqian as they left the beast tide. For mercenaries, the first priority was always the employer. Looking at the chaotic and bloody scene below, Yi Qing Luo and Dmo Xian stood on a branch not far away unscathed. The little mirage beast stood not far behind them, separated by a safe distance. Its injured leg was trembling. Dmo Xian seemed to have already calculated the range and distance. The position he chose was just right. It was not far from the beast tide, and just happened to avoid the attack of the beasts. "Beast tide, you are the one who caused it." Yi Qing Luo raised her eyebrows, and looked at the handsome face of the man next to her. This was an affirmative sentence, not a question. Dmo Xian brought her to the magic beast forest to use this beast tide to stimulate her breakthrough. In adversity, the line between life and death was the real opportunity to break through. No wonder from the beginning, Dmo Xian's goal was set on the 5th level. Yi Qing Luo was very curious about what method he used to make all the magical beasts in the 5th level into a beast tide. Dmo Xian's big palm covered Yi Qing Luo's head, his long arm around her waist, and pulled her into his arms without any explanation. The elegant sandalwood fragrance seeped into the nose, suffused with an intoxicating feeling. "Plans can't keep up with changes. I didn't expect to meet them." Dmo Xian's low hoarse voice, like mellow wine, rang in her ears. In other words, he had already tacitly admitted that he was the culprit of this beast tide. "It's good that we met, to be able to watch a good show. It's not bad to be able to enjoy it." Yi Qing Luo chuckled. If it wasn't for the fact that they met this heart-wrenching little mirage beast, Yi Qing Luo was prepared to wait for them to finish killing the mirage beast before snatching the magic crystal. Not only could he cause trouble for Lung Fenghua, but he could also benefit from it. Meeting Lung Fenghua and the others was not too bad. Below, Lung Fenghua, who was dodging in a sorry state, almost spat out blood when he saw the two of them standing on a tree branch and flirting with each other. "Go to them. Since you want to use the beast tide to kill me, I will give you a taste of your own medicine." Lung Fenghua gritted his teeth as he gave a cold snort. Pulling Yi Qingqian's hand, his feet moved like the wind as he led a wave of beasts towards Yi Qing Luo's direction. Rumbling sounds resounded throughout the entire magical beast forest. The ground caved in and the mountain shook. "You've become smart." Yi Qing Luo's brows rose slightly. The feather fan in her hand twirled around her fingertips. Her lips curled into a bloodthirsty smile. "Dmo Xian, I'll head down first." But Dmo Xian's arm didn't loosen. Yi Qing Luo looked at Dmo Xian in puzzlement, and met with his pair of sparkling peach blossom eyes. The man's face was filled with a sense of ridicule, the corners of his mouth slightly hooked, stirring one's heart. "Call me Xian." Yi Qingluo's heart skipped a few beats. Her bright eyes stared blankly at Dmo Xian's evildoer face, her cheeks flushed red. Ah Xian. Chapter 229. If you don't call me, I won't let go. Dmo Xian's eyes gleamed with a crafty glint as his 5 fingers clasped her waist tightly. Rogue. Rascal. Yi Qingluo gritted her teeth in embarrassment and pushed Dmo Xian's chest. Stop fooling around. I'm not messing around. Dmo Xian's obsidian black eyes gazed deeply at Yi Qingluo. You can try, how serious I am. His long arm exerted a little force, and Yi Qingluo's delicate body fell into Dmo Xian's arms. He hugged her tightly in his arms, and her limbs were bound so tightly that she could not move. Ah, West. All right. In Yi Qingluo's heart, it was as though 10,000 grass mud horses were whizzing past. He was on the verge of collapse. She saw how serious he was. Yi Qingluo's face turned black as she gritted her teeth and squeezed out 2 words. Ah, Xian. The man released his hands in satisfaction, his eyebrows full of a satisfied smile. Yi Qingluo's face sunk as she hopped down the tree branch in a flurry. Amen. Since she was unable to vent her anger at Dmo Xian, she might as well vent it on this group of magical beasts. Yi Qingluo's 5 fingers moved as the feather fan in her hand refracted a cold ray of light. Moving his feet, he turned into an afterimage and rushed into the midst of the magical beasts and illusionary beasts. Is she looking for death? Yi Qingjian saw Yi Qingluo's bold move, and her eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness. The magical beasts on the 5th level were all high-level magical beasts and phantom beasts. Just one of them was already difficult to deal with. The woman charged straight into the horde of beasts. Did he really think that he was an otherworldly expert? Even an otherworldly expert would not be able to deal with a large wave of magical beasts at once. If she wants to die, then let her go. Lung Fenghua snorted disdainfully. After leading a wave of magical beasts to the tree branch where Dmo Xian was standing, he let go of Yi Qingqian, and with a leap, he speedily jumped onto another big tree. Yi Qingqian's expression sunk. She did not expect that Lung Fenghua would abandon her at this time. A wave of resentment and unwillingness rose from the bottom of his heart, but he was unwilling to complain. Those magical beasts were huge, and they slammed into him. No matter how fast Yi Qingqian's reaction was, she was still hit by the magical beast right in front. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels felt like they were being torn apart. She quickly used her profound qi to escape from the eyes of the magical beasts, and returned to Lung Fenghua's side. This time round, Yi Qingqian didn't dare to hand herself into Lung Fenghua's hands. She would rather escape on her own than let Lung Fenghua become a target. Your Highness. Just as he was about to open his mouth and call out to Lung Fenghua to ease the awkward atmosphere between the two of them, Lung Fenghua's eyes were dull as he stared blankly in front of him. Yi Qingqian also followed his gaze and looked over, the expression on her face. Her mouth opened into an O shape. His jaw almost dropped to the ground. There was a strong smell of blood in the air. Amidst the herd of beasts, a white figure darted about like a bolt of lightning. The feather fan in his hand seemed to have a soul of its own, circulating among the countless demonic beasts. The corpses of the gigantic magical beasts were strewn all over the ground. Her speed was so fast that it was shocking. Her footwork was so strange that no one could understand it. Everyone could only see the white figure moving at high speed, accurately dodging the attacks of the demonic beasts, tearing and trampling attacks. While avoiding, she decisively released the feather fan in her hand, harvesting one magical beast after another. Was this really a high-leveled magical beast that they could not lay their hands on? Why was it like chopping cabbage in front of this lady? Was the disparity in strength? No. Impossible. Who is she? Lung Fenghua stared at Yi Qingluo in horror. What kind of footwork is this? In the world of martial arts, only speed could not be defeated. Speed was the best magic weapon to win. If a high-leveled cultivator looked closely, he would be able to see it. The woman in front of him was able to harvest magical beasts one after another, and the biggest reason was because of her strange footwork. Chapter 230. Accurately knowing the frequency and direction of the magical beast's attacks, avoiding them at the most appropriate time, and making the most appropriate counterattack. Facing thousands of high-level magical beasts and various levels of mirage beasts, if they were in her shoes, they would never be able to remain so calm. Looking at the white-robed man on the treetop, standing against the wind, with a faint smile on his face, a pair of narrow and charming eyes staring intently at Yiqing Luo's direction, without blinking. His ordinary face at this moment revealed a somewhat unfathomable feeling. Lung Fenghua had an intuition that this man, compared to the woman who was fighting among the magical beasts, was even more terrifying. If he were to make a move, what would the scene be like? What is that? Suddenly, the mercenaries pointed to the front and shouted. Everyone looked over there and saw a small palm-sized kitten suddenly sprang out from the woman's body, as fast as lightning, swimming among the magical beasts. It picked up all the magic cores in the magical beasts' heads and put them into a small brocade pouch on its back. The woman was fighting in front, while the kitten followed behind to pick up the magic cores. When a magic crystal full of magical beast energy was put into the small brocade pouch, Lung Fenghua and those mercenaries, one by one, took a cold breath, and then came back to their senses. Among the magical beasts on the 5th level, most of them were intermediate and high-level magical beasts. A high-level magical beast was equivalent to an earth mystic cultivator. This woman chopped these magical beasts like cabbages. Even mirage beasts died under her hands. Thinking back to earlier, they had lost a few lives to deal with a low-level mirage beast, but still couldn't hurt the low-level mirage beast at all. All of them had internal injuries. That was way too exciting, wasn't it? Go kill the magical beasts. The leader was the first to react, and immediately called the remaining mercenaries to join the battle. Watching Yiqing Luo pick up the magic cores, and also a magic crystal, these mercenaries, the purpose of coming here, was to find a magic crystal for Lung Fenghua. If it wasn't for the money, they would not step into this dangerous place. Seeing Yiqing Luo easily obtain a large number of magic cores and a magic crystal, they immediately wanted to profit from it. There were less than 30 people left in the mercenary group. Under the command of the leader, they quickly joined the battle. Boom, boom, boom. The sounds of battle between magical beasts and profound practitioners rose and fell, and it resounded throughout the entire magical beast forest. That lady, why does she look so familiar? Lung Fenghua's gaze was fixated on Yiqing Luo. The more he looked, the more he felt that this figure, this aura, this gaze, all of them were extremely familiar. But for a moment he couldn't recall who it was. When Yiqing Qian heard that, her body suddenly stiffened. Her face, which was trying hard to put on a gentle expression, was a little stiff. She slowed down her breathing and suppressed the panic in her heart. No, it can't be. How could His Highness be familiar with such an ordinary-looking woman? That's true. Even if I've seen it before, this face would not be able to leave a single mark in my heart. Lung Fenghua sighed slightly. If he had seen her before, he would have known that she was such a powerful expert. He should have brought her into his force long ago, and let her fight for the position of the monarch. Seeing that Lung Fenghua had stopped guessing, Yiqing Qian heaved a sigh of relief. A pair of venomous eyes glared viciously at the woman, who was wandering among the beasts. Lung Fenghua couldn't recognize her, but she could. This figure, this pair of eyes, this arrogant and condescending arrogance. Other than Yiqing Luo, that little slut, who else could it be? Chapter 231. The beast tide was turbulent, wave after wave, with no signs of stopping. Those 30 mercenaries were able to join the Silver Plate mercenary group. Their own strength and understanding were not bad. Moreover, they had been fighting for many years. Their tacit understanding was quite high. When they saw Yiqing Luo using her footwork and speed to play around with the beasts, they learned and applied what they learned. Soon, they adjusted the rhythm of dealing with the magical beasts, and could actually work together to kill one magical beast after another. The leader heaved a sigh of relief. His gaze was complicated as he looked at Yiqing Luo, who had stopped and stood motionless on the side. Unexpectedly, he had led the mercenary group to live in the magic beast forest for 5 or 6 years, but it was only today that he found a way to deal with the magical beasts from an unfamiliar woman. How could he endure this? From the bottom of his heart, he was filled with admiration for this seemingly ordinary, but actually extraordinary woman. Bitch, those magic cores were killed by the mercenary group we hired. What right do you have to pick them up? Suddenly, a sharp voice came from the treetops. Yi Qingqian showed a displeased expression and pointed angrily at Yi Qingluo. After shouting, Yi Qingqian realized that she had lost control of her emotions and ruined the gentle and generous image that she had carefully created. She hurriedly pinched her throat, grabbed Lung Fenghua's sleeves and said to the mercenary group, "His Highness hired you. Any spoils of war that you kill should belong to His Highness." Everyone then realized that Yi Qingluo had stopped killing the magical beasts. Instead, she was leisurely, together with her kitten, picked up pieces of magic cores from the heads of the magical beasts and put them into the brocade bag. This action made Lung Fenghua's face turn green. Yi Qingluo weighed the magic core in her hand and threw it into the air. She immediately caught it and raised her pink lips slightly. "Why? Because without me, you will all die here today." The mercenary group and the others had no words to refute. Indeed, if it wasn't for Yi Qingluo, they would most likely not be able to escape this increasingly turbulent beast tide. However, Yi Qingqian recognized Yi Qingluo. New hatred and old hatred mixed together. She was jealous of Yi Qingluo and hated her at the same time. This little bitch, the last time she saw her, she was clearly in the yellow profound realm. But she could actually fight wave after wave of intermediate and high-level magical beasts. And she could even take the opportunity to kill magical beasts. This combat strength was even stronger than Lung Fenghua, a 9th-grade mystic profound realm practitioner. At this moment, Yi Qingqian naturally wasn't willing to let Yi Qingluo have it easy. Since the magical beasts were killed by everyone, then the magical beast core should be divided together. Moreover, we clearly have the most people, so our damage output is naturally higher. Saying that, Yi Qingqian took Lung Fenghua's arm. "Your Highness is the crown prince. All the spoils of war should be left with your Highness. After the magical beasts are eliminated, then we can divide it equally." When Yi Qingluo heard that, she couldn't help but burst out laughing. This time, she saw with her own eyes what it meant to lie through one's teeth. "If you want the magic core, use your strength to speak." Yi Qingluo hooked her finger at Yi Qingqian, as if she was ordering a pet. This provocative action and attitude made Yi Qingqian's face turn black. Both sides knew each other's background. Yi Qingqian wasn't stupid, although her profound grade was above Yi Qingluo. But Yi Qingluo's set of strange footwork and breathtaking imposing manner, she couldn't resist at all. If she really fought with Yi Qingluo, the one who would lose face in the end would definitely be herself. But, before she could think about how to reject Yi Qingluo's provocation, while still preserving her face, suddenly a figure stood in front of her. A black robe wrapped around his strong and tall body. The broad back reflected in Yi Qingqian's eyes. It was Lung Fenghua. Chapter 232. As soon as he finished his words, Lung Fenghua flipped his palm, and a huge ball of light emerged from his palm. His eyes exuded a strong murderous aura, as he quickly condensed the ball of light from his profound qi towards Yi Qingluo's direction. That ball of light was as fast as lightning, leaving only an afterimage. The profound grade of the mystic profound 9th grade was indeed extraordinary. The momentum was like a rainbow, like a shocking giant wave, the waves superimposed. This was the power of a high-level cultivator. Sure enough, as the rumor said, Your Highness is a genius in cultivating profound skills. Yi Qingluo was not afraid at all as she laughed teasingly, although her words were compliments, but her eyes were full of ridicule. She quickly stepped back, opened the feather fan on her fingertips, and injected profound qi into the feather fan. As the feather fan waved, a flame dragon appeared, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, swallowing and spitting flames, directly collided with that ball of light. Bang! A loud bang. The fire dragon and the ball of light intertwined. The two profound chi collided, the surrounding air exploded, and the entire ground was plunged into an earthquake. The light shone. Yiqing Luo's charming eyes were flowing with a cold glint, set off by that ordinary face, especially dazzling. The surrounding wind raged, sand and gravel flew everywhere. Under the gale, Yiqing Luo was dressed in a plain white robe, the red chiffon fluttering in the wind, like a blooming lotus. Just when everyone thought that these two profound chi were evenly matched, that ball of light suddenly burst into light, and Yiqing Luo's fire dragon directly pressed back. Obviously, this woman's profound grade was below Lung Fenghua. Lower than Lung Fenghua? That also meant that this woman's profound grade was below mystic profound 9th grade. The mercenaries' faces were filled with disbelief. In the mercenary group, all of them were in the mystic profound realm. However, 40 over of them to deal with a low-level mirage beast. They were already battered and exhausted, and more than 10 of their brothers had died. But this woman relied on her own strength to hunt wave after wave of magical beasts. No matter how strange that set of strange footwork was, without absolute strength, there was absolutely no way to easily hunt magical beasts. If it wasn't for Lung Fenghua's profound chi, which forced Yiqing Luo to retreat, they would have thought that this was some otherworldly expert. Some even guessed that Yiqing Luo was a sky mystic supreme. Unexpectedly, Yiqing Luo's profound grade was actually lower than Lung Fenghua. This was true power. The mercenaries who were fighting against the magical beasts were shocked and distracted, allowing the magical beasts to take the opportunity to counterattack. They immediately calmed themselves down and readjusted their rhythm to deal with the next wave of beasts. Yiqing Luo narrowed her eyes, and just as the light ball was about to be pushed back, a thought flashed through her mind. Teleportation. In the blink of an eye, Yiqing Luo's figure appeared 100 meters away. She raised her feather fan, and the bewitching red light flickered. The airflow surged, and once again formed a fire dragon. When Lung Fenghua saw this, a disdainful sneer appeared on his face. After knowing that Yiqing Luo's profound grade was below his, Lung Fenghua's heart was filled with pride. Towards Yiqing Luo's attack of profound chi, he totally disregarded it. He scoffed lightly as he leapt upwards, meeting that burst of profound chi as both his palms struck downwards, directly attacking Yiqing Luo's face. But when he collided with that burst of profound chi, his expression suddenly changed. That fire dragon suddenly turned into a ball of spiral, tightly entangling Lung Fenghua within it. Yiqing Luo's feather fan folded up, and a strong airflow was released from her feet. Her figure flashed, and in the blink of an eye, she had already appeared in front of Lung Fenghua. Chapter 233. This speed. It was so fast that the naked eye almost couldn't catch it. Her profound grade was obviously lower than his, so how could her speed be so fast? Earlier when Yiqing Luo's profound chi was suppressed, Yiqing Luo also disappeared in a blink of an eye. He didn't sense any profound chi fluctuation at all. This woman, other than her strange footwork, she must have some other magical weapon to increase her speed. Lung Fenghua was shocked. He nimbly somersaulted back and quickly retreated a few steps. Immediately, profound chi was injected into both palms, and another palm strike was launched. The palm wind whistled, bringing along a whirlwind. Yiqing Luo waved her feather fan and easily avoided it. But Lung Fenghua's figure was nowhere to be seen. Yiqing Luo's watery eyes squinted slightly and released her perception to the maximum range, searching for Lung Fenghua's presence. Although the surrounding trees had been destroyed by the beasts, but it was still a forest. It was very easy for him to hide. Lung Fenghua was able to become the crown prince. His strength was naturally not weak, and his ability to adapt was also extremely strong. He was very clear that there was absolutely no chance of winning against Yiqing Luo in terms of speed. It was better to strike from the dark. Yiqing Luo vigilantly sensed everything around her. The opponent was a mystic profound 9th grade cultivator. Even if she relied on her footwork and teleportation, She didn't dare to be too insolent. After all, between a profound grade, there was a difference of 108,000 miles. Her ears suddenly twitched. She quickly turned sideways and turned her head to look. Behind him, an extremely sharp Xianqi transformed into a giant dragon with its head held high. That huge dragon hovered in the sky, opened its mouth, and wanted to swallow Yiqing Luo. The entire magical beast space had darkened, the sky had flashed with lightning, as if a storm was coming. Yiqing Luo immediately squatted down and rolled sideways. That huge dragon pounced on empty air. There was a loud explosion. The entire ground was blasted out a huge black hole. Sand and stones flew, smoke and dust billowed. Vaguely, she saw a figure flickering, but she couldn't see it clearly. Yiqing Luo's eyes sunk, and her heart jumped. Damn it! Not good. She fell into a trap. One palm to determine the universe, Dragon Shadow Palm. As Lung Fenghua's palms turned over again, the corners of his mouth curled into a sly sneer. Amidst the hazy smoke and dust, only Lung Fenghua's hands could be seen in the air. It was impossible to see his movements at all. A wave of palm chi formed a huge palm print in midair. Like a huge wave, the surrounding ground rumbled and trembled as cracks appeared on it. Lightning flashed and thunder roared in the pitch-black sky. Lung Fenghua had calculated Yiqing Luo's evasion speed and distance before he executed this fatal blow. Yiqing Luo couldn't evade in time. She swiftly raised her feather fan and injected her profound energy into it. And then she constructed a red light barrier that was like a cocoon and enveloped herself within it. Just as the cocoon rose, the dragon shadow palm had already covered the sky and the earth as it pressed down. This powerful energy seemed as though it was going to corrode her, as it instantly tore apart Yiqing Luo's protective shield. At the same time, Yiqing Luo executed her teleportation once again. He appeared behind Lung Fenghua. She spun the feather fan in her hand, and a sharp blade appeared on the handle of the fan, which was pressed against Lung Fenghua's neck. Boom, boom, boom. Just as Yiqing Luo was about to get close to Lung Fenghua, the ground suddenly boomed and caved in. Within a few meters around Lung Fenghua, the ground collapsed crazily. That exploded stone all smashed onto Yiqing Luo's chest. Puffed. A mouthful of blood spurted out from Yiqing Luo's mouth. Chapter 234. Unexpectedly, Lung Fenghua actually controlled his palm energy so freely. Yiqing Luo felt a fishy sweetness in her throat as she steadied herself. It's really you, Yiqing Luo. Lung Fenghua's eyes were cold as he stared intently at Yiqing Luo's face. Disguising yourself to appear in front of this highness. Is it an attempt to attract my attention? Very good, you succeeded. The more he looked, the more Lung Fenghua felt that the woman in front of him was very familiar. Gradually, it overlapped with the petite figure in his mind. This was the reason why Lung Fenghua stood in front of Yiqing Jian and exchanged blows with Yiqing Luo. Sure enough, he found it. Pfft. Yiqing Luo spat. Do you have to be so narcissistic? Who the hell was trying to get his attention? She found it disgusting. Who is that man? Lung Fenghua's eyes were bloodshot as he turned his head towards Dmo Xian's direction. Dmo Xian stood proudly with his arms crossed over his chest. The fluttering white long robe actually looked so compatible with Yiqing Luo's outfit. Lung Fenghua felt as if he had caught his own woman with his own eyes and made him wear a green hat. What has it got to do with you? Yiqing Luo sneered as she wiped the blood off her lips. Suddenly, he felt an inexplicable burning sensation in his heart. She covered her chest with her small, fair hands. Yiqing Luo's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. Lung Fenghua only thought that Yiqing Luo had admitted her affair with that man, and his eyes shot out an intense murderous intent as he raised his palm once again. Suddenly, a strong ray of light burst forth from Yiqing Luo's body. That devilish red glow turned into a whirlwind, encircling Yiqing Luo's surroundings. Lung Fenghua was forced to take a few steps back. His face was filled with shock, and his tall body trembled uncontrollably. No, impossible. Actually, this was the sign of a breakthrough. Lung Fenghua naturally wouldn't foolishly assume that Yiqing Luo was going to advance to the earth profound grade. not an earth xian. Was that the mystic profound realm? In other words, before this, Yiqing Luo's profound grade had always been yellow profound ninth grade? Lung Fenghua's prideful self-esteem was severely stimulated. Yellow profound ninth grade. He could actually fight wave after wave of magical beasts and illusory beasts. Yellow profound ninth grade. He was a profound grade higher than Yiqing Luo, yet he had to resort to trickery to hurt her. If Yiqing Luo continued to grow, wouldn't it be? Lung Fenghua shuddered, not daring to think any further. Everyone's vision, including those magical beasts which were fighting crazily, all shifted onto Yiqing Luo. In the light, a white figure gradually appeared. The coquettish red light stirred up a whirlwind that blew her hair, and her dress fluttered in the air. It was as if a fairy from the 9 heavens had descended into the world. The light around her body flickered one after another. Mystic Profound Grade 1. Mystic Profound 2nd Grade. Mystic Profound 3rd Grade. Everyone was horrified in their hearts, and gasps resounded one after another. In the end, the light flickered once more, and the fluctuation of the profound qi stopped at the 4th level of the profound mystic realm. The light gradually dissipated. Within Yiqing Luo's body, there seemed to be a clear spring, flowing along her meridians. His body and mind felt comfortable. Even the pain from Lung Fenghua's palm energy seemed to have disappeared. F***CK. Where did this freak come from? A breakthrough of 4 ranks in one go? I must be dreaming. How could this be possible? I've never seen anyone who could advance so many ranks in one go. None of the mercenaries could believe their own eyes. A breakthrough to the Mystic Profound Grade, and straight to the Mystic Profound 4th Grade. This was simply unheard of. Chapter 235. Yiqing Luo smiled sweetly, as enchanting as a flower. After her breakthrough, her entire temperament had undergone an earth-shattering change. That pair of enchanting eyes revealed a bit of charm. Her exquisite face and faint smile caused everything around her to lose all its brilliance. This smile could be said to be devastatingly beautiful, unparalleled. However, this smile, in Lung Fenghua's eyes, was like a devil from hell. His whole body was ice cold, and before he could react, he felt a stinging pain on his neck. Yiqing Luo's fan handle pressed against Lung Fenghua's neck. The sharp blade cut his skin. A drop of bewitching blood flowed on the blade. Lung Fenghua felt the pain, drew a cold breath. His body had just moved. Both his arms were held by Yiqing Luo's hands. Crack. Lung Fenghua only felt a numbness in both arms. The bones were twisted. He was in so much pain that he broke out in cold sweat. His facial features were hideous. His entire face was twisted into a ball. That pair of sinister eyes was filled with hostility. In his heart, there was a turbulent wave. He couldn't believe the once weak and incompetent meek Yiqing Luo actually improved so quickly. Her beauty was so ostentatious that he couldn't bear it. The strong and sharp aura shocked him to the point that he had no room to resist. How could the current Lung Fenghua have the slightest bit of his usual gentleness? Lung Fenghua, no matter what, you are a crown prince. Don't say that I didn't give you a chance. Yiqing Luo's fan handle lightly patted his neck a few times. Lung Fenghua's muscles stiffened, his whole body tensed up. Aren't you an eldest sister affectionate lovey-dovey? Then, now let Yiqing Qian come over, kowtow to me a few times. Then I will let you go. How about that? Yiqing Luo's charming eyes were glistening. The smile on the corner of her mouth was full of ridicule. Yiqing Qian, who was standing far away in the safe zone, heard this. Angrily pointed at Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo, you dare to ask us to kneel? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? You're not dead yet. This lightning can't strike me no matter what. Yiqing Luo's brows rose as her lips curled into a sarcastic smile. Don't tell me. Eldest sister is unwilling to kneel down for Lung Fenghua? After saying that, she clicked her tongue and shook her head helplessly. So the relationship between you two isn't as good as I thought. It's just a kneel, and you can save your lover. You're still unwilling? Don't try to sow discord between us. Yiqing Qian's face darkened as she clutched her sleeves tightly. Who knows if you're intentionally teasing us? She bit her lower lip fiercely, her eyes burning with anger. Her feelings towards Lung Fenghua was not true love. What she loved was his status and power. Moreover, Lung Fenghua did not have true feelings for her. Especially just now, in order to escape, he had actually left her to be the prey of that wave of magical beasts. These actions made Yi Qingqian's heart turn cold. For her to kneel down to Yi Qingluo for Lung Fenghua, she couldn't do it. That's right, there's a high possibility that he's playing a trick on you. Yi Qingluo raised her eyebrows. The blade of the fan swam around Lung Fenghua's skin. The blade shone with a piercingly cold light, as though the slightest movement would cut his neck. The feeling of the death god above his head was indeed torturous. Lung Fenghua's body stiffened. Even his breathing was careful. Yi Qingluo's dimples bloomed, as her enchanting sweet voice slowly seeped into everyone's eardrums. But you don't have a choice. So what if they were playing a trick? Chapter 236. You're going too far. Yi Qingqian was so angry that her entire body was trembling. Her 10 fingers were tightly embedded into the flesh of her palm. Yi Qingluo sneered disapprovingly. I never bully others. In her eyes, Yi Qingqian was at most an animal. Following that, Yi Qingluo raised up 3 fingers as her chilly voice was piercingly cold. I'll count to 3. Either you kneel down or he dies. Yi Qingluo withdrew a finger and spat out a word. 1. Yi Qingqian's eyes were filled with unwillingness. His heart was filled with hatred, burning in his heart. 2. Yi Qingluo retracted another finger. Yi Qingqian still didn't move. Lung Fenghua didn't dare to turn his neck, and could only turn his eyes and stare at Yi Qingqian's direction. He absolutely believed that Yi Qingluo wasn't joking. 3. The last number came out from Yi Qingluo's pink lips. With a dong sound, Yi Qingqian's knees landed heavily on the ground. The gravel on the ground stabbed into her knees. Hiss! Yi Qingqian sucked in a breath of cold air. Her facial features contorted in pain. She bit her lower lip tightly, as she endured the humiliation, and kowtowed towards Yi Qingluo's direction. His forehead was pressed against the ground. She curled up her fingers one by one, leaving marks on the ground. But for a long time, he didn't hear Yi Qingluo's voice. Yi Qingluo, for His Highness I will kneel. What else do you want? Yi Qingqian's gaze was venomous as she raised her head abruptly and stared ahead. The voice stopped abruptly. In front of him, where was Yi Qingluo? Only Lung Fenghua was half kneeling on the ground, clutching his neck and panting heavily. Yi Qingqian's face twitched a few times as she stiffly twisted her neck and looked around. They saw Yi Qingluo, who was originally standing in front, holding Lung Fenghua hostage, was now in the midst of the beast horde. All the mercenaries were working together with her to surround a huge leopard-shaped magical beast. Yi Qingqian was so infuriated that she couldn't stop trembling. She knelt down, but Yi Qingluo totally disregarded her. Yi Qingluo actually dared to tease her like this. Hatred spread rapidly from the bottom of his heart. She must kill Yi Qingluo. He had to wash away today's humiliation. Not long ago, while Yi Qingluo was teasing Yi Qingqian, the mercenaries were annihilating wave after wave of magical beasts. Accompanying the beast tide were 3 advanced mirage beasts. One of the gigantic leopard-shaped mirage beasts bared its fangs and charged towards the leader. His speed was so fast that no one could react in time. Leader! The mercenaries cried out in fear. Their mercenary corps of more than 40 people joined forces to deal with a low-level phantom beast, but a few of them would die, not to mention a high-level phantom beast. Moreover, the leopard-type phantom beast's eyes were scarlet red, revealing a strong killing intent. It's over. 10 meters ahead, roll right. Suddenly, a cold voice entered the regiment commander's ears. Then he saw a white figure coming over quickly. The feather fan at her fingertips rolled up a bewitching red light and enveloped the high-level phantom beast. The commander reacted quickly, leaping forward with large strides and rolling on the ground. His body happened to be submerged in a pile of weeds and trees, and in an instant, he disappeared without a trace. Yi Qingluo's profound qi could only make the high-level phantom beast stagnate for a moment. When it could move, it lost its target in front of it. It immediately flew into a rage and stared at Yiqing Luo with its scarlet eyes. Human, this beast does not want to be enemies with you. Hand over that human. Chapter 237. The moment she opened her mouth, everyone was stunned. It was rumored that mirage beasts could speak human language and live like humans. This rumor turned out to be true. It was the first time for the mercenaries present to hear the voice of a mirage beast. What made them even more surprised was this high-level mirage beast actually used a negotiating tone to speak to Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo was also slightly stunned. Leopard-type high-level mirage beast. She narrowed her eyes slightly. Why are you looking for him? The high-level mirage beast's eyes sunk, revealing a bloodthirsty hatred. Human, he killed my son. If you insist on protecting that person, don't blame this beast for not showing mercy. Son. Yiqing Luo looked at the mercenary beside her. That mercenary shook his head desperately. They had killed so many magical beasts. Who knew which one this high-level mirage beast's son was? That high-level mirage beast took a step forward, as if it had smelled the scent of the group leader. The mercenaries looked at Yiqing Luo with pleading eyes. It could be seen that this high-level mirage beast still had some fear towards Yiqing Luo. If Yiqing Luo was not here, this mirage beast would probably directly destroy this place to avenge its son. Ow ow ow! Suddenly a ball of white little thing as fast as lightning rushed to the front of Yiqing Luo. A palm-sized kitten, sitting on the ground. Its mouth issued a warning ow ow sound. The dark eyes of the beast faintly flashed a few traces of red light. Don't want to live. Miss your kitten. A little thing, in order to protect its master, actually wanted to fight against a high-level mirage beast which was taller than a mountain? But a scene that made everyone dumbfounded happened. Only to see that huge mirage beast stopped in front of the kitten. The mirage beast suppressed its anger, lowered its eyes and stared at Yiqing Luo. Human, what do you want? When she saw Chi sitting at the foot of the mirage beast, Yiqing Luo finally understood why this mirage beast was so afraid of her. Chi was one of the 4 sacred beasts, the ancestor of all the beasts. After she and Chi formed a contract, her body would naturally be contaminated with Chi scent. High-leveled magical beasts, and above were able to sniff out that Yiqing Luo had contracted with a sacred beast. Your son, is he a low-level mirage beast? Yiqing Luo's lips curled into a smile, her charming eyes amiable. This leopard mirage beast reminded Yiqing Luo of the agile little mirage beast. Wasn't that little mirage beast chasing after its own kin? Was it abandoned by its kin? Then this one. Since he was so eager to avenge his son, it was obvious that he cared a lot about the little mirage beast. Then why would the little mirage beast show such an expression? You saw my son? The high-rank fantasy beast's eyes darkened. You're in cahoots with these humans. Aolo, Chi whimpered unhappily. It was very dissatisfied with the magical beast's attitude towards its master. It leapt up and jumped onto Yiqing Luo's shoulder. The rage of the high-level phantom beast was instantly extinguished, but its pair of beast eyes were still staring intently at Yiqing Luo, as though as long as Yiqing Luo replied with a yes, it would disregard everything else and directly tear Yiqing Luo apart. Roar roar. A loud and clear beast roar sounded from behind Yiqing Luo. Immediately, Yiqing Luo only felt a gust of chilly wind blowing past her cheek, and saw a shadow flitting past her eyes. That little mirage beast crashed into the body of the high-level mirage beast. Roar roar. The little mirage beast rubbed against it, its beast eyes glistening with tears. Jeaner, the high-level mirage beast roared excitedly when it saw the little mirage beast. Chapter 238. As soon as these 3 high-level mirage beasts appeared, the surrounding magical beasts seemed to have seen their king, and stood obediently on both sides. Wave after wave of ferocious beast tide also came to a stop. The entire scene was so quiet that only the low cries of these 3 mirage beasts could be heard. The group of beasts did not dare to move. The surrounding mercenaries also did not dare to move. Yiqing Luo narrowed her eyes, sure enough. From the first time she saw this little mirage beast, she felt that this little mirage beast was not an ordinary low-level mirage beast. because its speed and reaction was several times faster than ordinary low-level mirage beasts. The relatives of this little mirage beast were all high-level mirage beasts. Human. The high-leveled mirage beast that was gently caressing the small mirage beast suddenly opened its mouth. Its voice was like a great bell, falling heavily into Yiqing Luo's ears. It lowered its head and suddenly stretched out its tail towards Yiqing Luo. That huge, fluffy tail was the size of a thick tree. As its tail moved, the surrounding mercenaries held their breath vigilantly and released their profound qi, ready to go. Yiqing Luo looked down at the fluffy tail in front of her, pondered for a moment, and stretched out her hand. Her body was curled up by the tail. Her body became light, and she landed on the back of the high-level mirage beast. Yiqing Luo couldn't see the huge leopard-type mirage beast clearly as she sat in it. The surrounding mercenaries felt cold all over as they swallowed their saliva and looked at this scene in disbelief. What was the identity of this woman? High-level mirage beast. That was a high-level mirage beast. It actually took the initiative to invite a human to sit on its back. You know, all magical beasts had their own dignity. Even if one managed to tame a normal magical beast, it would take a long time to train it into one's own beast. Not to mention the high and mighty high-level mirage beast. To let a human ride on its back was a disgrace to the mirage beast. They were absolutely dreaming. This was absolutely a dream. Under everyone's shocked gaze, the high-level mirage beast turned around and carried Yiqing Luo into the depths of the forest. Yiqing Luo sat steadily on the back of the mirage beast. This seemingly hard as steel fur was exceptionally soft. Seeing the high-level phantom beast carrying her away, she subconsciously turned her head and looked in the direction of the treetops. The man in snow-white clothes was still standing in the wind with his hands behind his back. His jet-black hair fluttered in the wind, and his tall and straight figure exuded an aura that looked down on the world. That ordinary-looking face seemed especially unfathomable. Separated by a long distance, Yiqing Luo could still see the gentleness between the man's brows. As if sensing her gaze, the man's thin lips curled up slightly as he spat out two silent words. Yiqing Luo's heart suddenly skipped a few beats. She understood Diemo Xian's lips. Her cheeks suddenly flushed red. She turned her head away as if she was fleeing, no longer looking at him. He said, "I'll wait for you." She covered her chest with her fair hands, as she felt her heart racing uncontrollably. This man, he had really put his flirting skills to good use. The right place, the right time. Coincidentally, it made her heart flutter. The high-leveled mirage beast's speed was extremely fast. Yiqing Luo could only feel the oncoming wind blowing against her face, biting cold. But the scorching temperature on her face could not be reduced by the gusts of wind, until the high-level mirage beast brought her to the depths of the forest and stopped in front of a huge cave. Chapter 239. After arriving at the door, the high-level mirage beast swept its tail and dragged Yiqing Luo to the ground. Following that, the three high-level mirage beasts quickly transformed into ordinary leopard beasts. The little mirage beast also transformed into a little leopard with the same size as Chi-Chi and followed her mother. The four mirage beasts led Yiqing Luo into the cave. The cave was pitch black and the eyes of the beasts were emitting a faint green light, looking particularly eerie. Yiqing Luo had nothing to worry about. She didn't feel the slightest hostility from these mirage beasts. These mirage beasts probably had something to say to her. Not knowing how long they had walked, Yiqing Luo finally saw a glimmer of light. The four mirage beasts stopped in their tracks. This was the deepest part of the cave, surrounded by rock walls, and four luminous pearls were hanging on the four walls. The four mirage beasts sat on their knees. "Human, why are you able to form a contract with the greatest ancestor of the sacred beasts?" The high-level mirage beast's eyes swept over Chi-Chi and finally fell on Yiqing Luo. In the hearts of the mirage beasts, the ancestors of the sacred beasts were eternal legends in their hearts. It couldn't understand why one of the ancestors of the sacred beasts, the white tiger, would form a contract with an ordinary cultivator. Not waiting for Yiqing Luo to answer, the high-level mirage beast continued in a deep voice. In the secret history of the beasts, Our four great sacred beasts' ancestors used to be all-powerful and finally formed a contract with the Emperor of Gods. They followed the Emperor of Gods to conquer all the realms, sweeping the Nirvana realm and even the upper realm, creating countless legends. Speaking of the ancestors of the beasts, the high-level Mirage Beast's eyes were full of pure admiration. The only master of the sacred beasts is the Emperor of Gods. Why? After the Emperor of Gods has been asleep for thousands of years, why did he choose an ordinary cultivator? The Mirage Beast's question was directed at Chi-Chi. Listening to the high-level Mirage Beast, talking about the secret history of the sacred beasts, Yi-Ching Luo's heart was filled with a strange feeling. She was also puzzled about this question. Old Man Song said that Chi-Chi was one of the four ancient sacred beasts, the white tiger. Then why did the sacred beast choose her? Chi-Chi sat upright on Yi-Ching Luo's shoulder. A pair of dark tiger eyes quietly gazed at the high-level Mirage Beast. Although it was small, its whole body emitted the majesty of a sacred beast, causing the illusory beast to lower its head. However, he did not give up on this question. Lord Holy Beast, why did you choose her? Awoo. Chi-Chi remained silent for a while before letting out a low howl. Yi-Ching Luo couldn't understand Chi-Chi's words, but the Mirage Beast could understand. Its eyes widened for a moment as it looked at Yi-Ching Luo in astonishment. However, in the blink of an eye, the beast's eyes returned to their previous tranquility. Human. The phantom beast suddenly lowered its body and lay on the ground. When the other two magical beasts saw this, they immediately followed behind it and did the same thing. This was the symbol of the highest etiquette of the illusory beast race. Human, can this beast ask you for a favor? The phantom beast's voice was a bit hoarse. Yi-Ching Luo frowned slightly as her gaze swept back and forth between Chi-Chi and the Mirage Beast. The expression on her face was slightly solemn. You speak first. The Mirage Beast licked its mouth and seemed to use all its strength to speak word by word. I hope you can contract Ju-er. One sentence stirred up thousands of waves. The little Mirage Beast roared a few times and stuck out its mouth to rub against the Mirage Beast's body, as if to say that it didn't want to leave. Contract this little Mirage Beast? Yi-Ching Luo understood that the reason why the Mirage Beast made this request was because of Chi-Chi's beast language. Chapter 240. A human who can form a contract with a sacred beast is bound to be able to walk the path of the strong. The Mirage Beast's eyes were full of seriousness. It nudged the little Mirage Beast's body, indicating it to lie down. Although the little Mirage Beast was somewhat unwilling, it still obediently lay down beside its mother. This beast hopes that Roer can become a high-level Mirage Beast. The Mirage Beast continued. Following this beast, it will never be able to grow and... It paused, its eyes revealed a sad emotion. And it is not loved by the leopard clan. Yi-Ching Luo thought of the beast tide. When the little Mirage Beast was kicked and abandoned by several high-level leopard Mirage Beasts, when it looked at those Mirage Beasts, it touched her. Human, I believe you will take good care of my son and lead him to the peak of the strong. The Mirage Beast's eyes were sincere. Yi-Ching Luo was silent. At first, she was indeed infected by the little Mirage Beast's eyes, and was very interested in it. But this little Mirage Beast was not abandoned by the other beasts. It had a mother who loved it. If she formed a contract with it, wouldn't it separate mother and son? Looking at this Mirage Beast's reluctance to part with the little Mirage Beast. Human, are you willing to listen to a story? Seeing Yi-Ching Luo remain silent for a long time, the Mirage Beast sighed softly. Yi-Ching Luo was slightly stunned and nodded. The Mirage Beast climbed up from the ground, flicked its tail, and walked towards the corner of the cave. Yi-Ching Luo followed closely. Half a stick of incense later, ending the conversation with the Mirage Beast, Yi-Ching Luo stared at the little Mirage Beast for a long time. If it is willing, I can form a contract with it. The little Mirage Beast raised its head. Its brown eyes blinked. I swear, it will be my eternal partner. Yi-Ching Luo's eyes were firm. In my heart, it has the same position as Chi-Chi. Woof woof, Chi-Chi leaped onto Yi-Ching Luo's shoulder, rubbed her cheek, indicating that it agreed with all the master's decisions. Yiqing Luo's pink lips slightly hooked up into an amiable arc, stretched out her hand to the little mirage beast. If you are willing, come with me. Be it humans or beasts, they all have their own set of survival rules. If you want to have the ability to protect yourself and your loved ones, you must have undefeatable strength. If you want to possess such power, the only way is to keep fighting, keep challenging, and keep accumulating and growing. Are you willing to grow with me? The little mirage beast listened attentively to Yiqing Luo's words. Its eyes sparkled incessantly. Yiqing Luo's words were exactly what it was thinking. But the little mirage beast knew that if it contracted with Yiqing Luo, it would never be able to see its mother again. The tiny claws hesitated for a long time, unable to take a step towards Yiqing Luo. Go, child. She will train you until you become strong enough. I will see you again. The magical beast choked with sobs, licked the little magical beast's fur, and immediately used its head to nudge the little magical beast's body. The small magical beast growled a few times. Slowly, he walked towards Yiqing Luo and stood in front of her. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up into a smile. The feather fan streaked across her fingertips. A drop of blood dripped onto the forehead of the little mirage beast. A ray of light shrouded the both of them. A diamond-shaped mark appeared on the forehead of the little mirage beast. The contract was completed. Human. Thank you. When it saw the diamond-shaped mark, the eyes of the mirage beast flashed with tears. This mark expressed Yiqing Luo's intentions. This was the lowest level of contract among the beast clans, peace contract. The contracted beast clan could choose to terminate the contract with the consent of the master at any time, and would not suffer any backlash or punishment. The mirage beast closed its eyes. Its heart was completely at ease. Chapter 241. By the time Yiqing Luo returned to Dmo Xian's side, the beasts had dispersed. The remaining 30 mercenaries, under the command of the group leader, sat on the ground to rest. Yiqing Qian and Leng Fenghua stood by the side, arguing about something. When Yiqing Luo returned, everyone's gazes towards her were filled with reverence. That leopard beast. Could it be the high-level mirage beast just now? I heard that mirage beasts can transform their body shape. That seems to be it. Everyone looked over at the source of the commotion. They saw a leopard beast, leading a small leopard head-to-head, following behind Yiqing Luo. Just now Yiqing Luo left with 3 high-level mirage beasts, and now she came back with 2 leopard beasts, one big and one small. Everyone naturally guessed that these 2 leopard beasts were the high-level mirage beasts just now. Yiqing Luo ignored this group of mercenaries. Her line of sight met with the man in white on the treetop. He leaned against the treetop and supported his head with one hand, his long black hair cascading down like smoke, his long narrow eyes slightly squinted, reflecting a demonic arc. That loose white robe made him look even more distinguished and lazy. Yiqing Luo's eyes rippled with a smile, turned her head to look at the mother and son pair, who were still dating, and moved her feet, leaving space for the mother and son. Presumably, the mother beast had a lot of words to say to its little Luo. Yiqing Luo had just moved under the tree. Her waist suddenly tightened. A scorching hot chest had already covered her delicate back. The man's warm breath directly sprayed on her neck. What's the result? I contracted that little mirage beast. Yiqing Luo was not used to it as she shrank her neck. Oh. Dmo Xian raised his brows slightly. Little Luo, this trip, you've earned a lot. Your luck is not bad. Indeed, it was a profit. She followed Dmo Xian to the magic beast forest. The purpose was to find an opportunity to break through the mystic profound realm. Now she not only broke through, but also advanced to mystic profound 4th grade. What's more, she picked up a lot of magic cores and 1 or 2 magic crystals. Now she had contracted a leopard beast that could grow. I signed a peace contract with it. Yiqing Luo took a look at the little mirage beast that was still snuggling up to the mother beast. Her charming eyes were tinged with a trace of warmth. The contract is because I want to help it. Yiqing Luo succinctly told him what the mirage beast had told her. Shiju, that little phantom beast, was not a pure leopard beast. More accurately, it only had half of the bloodline of a leopard. This was the reason why it was abandoned by the other leopards. And the reason why Shiju could live safely until now was because its mother, that high-level mirage beast, was the king of the 5th level. However, even such an identity could not hide the fact that Shiju was not a pure leopard. When the mother beast wasn't around, it was spurned, mocked, and ridiculed by its fellow beasts. No leopard was willing to play with it. Apart from his mother, all of his relatives despised him. In particular, all of his relatives had been promoted to high-level phantom beasts. Only it was a low-level phantom beast. The Void Mother felt that it would be detrimental to Shiju's growth if it continued to stay by its side. Although Shiju had lived for hundreds of years, but in the beast clan, it was equivalent to a 6 or 7-year-old child. When it longed for the love of its fellow beasts, the mockery from those beasts would form a scar, leaving a scar in Shiju's heart. Especially something like today had happened. Chapter 242. The Void Mother realized that if this were to continue, the son she wanted to protect with all her heart might not be able to grow up normally. Because of this, when the mother beast saw Yiqing Luo, it endured its unwillingness to let Shiju and Yiqing Luo form a contract. Because Lord Holy Beast had said something. Because a human that the Lord Saint Beast had acknowledged would definitely be able to train its son. Because the beast race was the most sensitive to the changes in human emotions and hearts. It could tell that although Yiqing Luo looked cold and emotionless on the surface, but her heart was actually very kind. Finally, it hoped that I could bring Shiju to Shiju's father. Yiqing Luo's eyelashes drooped, but regarding Shiju's father's matter, it's not willing to say a single word more. Dmo Xian held her waist tightly as he laughed softly. Shiju only has half leopard beast bloodline, which means that Shiju's father is not a leopard beast. The fact that this mother beast gave birth to Shiju in the magical beast forest alone means that something happened between it and Shiju's father. As soon as he finished speaking, he wrapped his arms even tighter around her. That elegant sandalwood scent lingered in Yiqing Luo's heart bit by bit. It doesn't want to talk about it because it doesn't want to talk about its past. Since it asked you to find Shiju's father, it must be because of Shiju's father. If he sees Shiju, he will definitely be able to recognize Shiju. Yiqing Luo nodded her head slightly. She had no choice but to admit that Dmo Xian's words of consolation had struck the spot in her heart. She raised her eyes and looked at the leopard and leopard cubs who were still rubbing against each other. Her clear eyes were filled with warmth. Actually, my Lil Luo's nature is still kind. Dmo Xian's slender fingers caressed Yiqing Luo's cheek. His slender and fair fingers had distinct joints and were extremely beautiful. Kindness? No matter if it was her previous life or this life, she would always be called heartless, bloodthirsty, demoness, and other similar comments. This was the first time someone had used this term on her. It was really unfamiliar. She was kind but not to people. The sincere feelings of these two leopards were worthy of her kindness. Many times, beasts were more worthy of respect than humans. Humans could sacrifice their children for their own benefit, but beasts would not. Beasts would only place their closest kin in the most important position. Yiqing Luo stared at the two mirage beasts and did not notice that Dmo Xian had changed the way he addressed her. He had also neglected that she had admitted that she was Dmo Xian's little Luo Yiqing Luo. Suddenly, Yiqing Qian's sharp voice was heard. You fickle woman! How dare you hug another man in front of His Highness? If this matter reaches the ears of the old ancestor, you will suffer. From afar, Yiqing Luo could see the intense jealousy in Yiqing Qian's eyes. To Yiqing Qian, Yiqing Luo's disregard towards her was the greatest humiliation. That meal was an indelible humiliation for Yiqing Qian in this lifetime. Yiqing Luo raised her brows and pushed the hand on her waist. This time round, Dmo Xian didn't take the opportunity to take advantage of Yiqing Luo, as he obediently let go of his hand. Yiqing Luo's lips curled into a smile as her eyes were filled with a deep cold intent. If I didn't remember wrongly, as early as 3 months ago, Lung Fenghua had personally said that he wanted to request for a decree from the monarch to cancel our engagement. Chapter 243. 3 months ago, it just so happened that Lung Fenghua and Yi Qingqian were in their passionate love period. Lung Fenghua's face suddenly sunk as his gloomy eyes stared at Yi Qingqian, as though he was blaming Yi Qingqian for telling Yi Qingluo their private conversation. Yi Qingqian instantly felt extremely aggrieved for Lung Fenghua. She even knelt down to Yi Qingluo, giving Yi Qingluo a chance to humiliate her. Lung Fenghua did not know how to be grateful, and even spoke coldly to her. The more Yi Qingqian thought about it, the more indignant she felt. But she didn't dare to flare up at Lung Fenghua, so she could only clench her teeth and suppress her anger, thinking of ways to shut Yi Qingluo's mouth. Seventh sister, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. 3 months ago, His Highness often visited the Three Springs sect residence. When did he mention anything about breaking off the engagement with you? Since ancient times, there has been no reason for a woman to divorce her husband. You were just blinded by another man today. When she said other men, she specially took a glance at Dmo Xian. Her eyes were filled with disdain and ridicule. Only Yi Qingluo would take a fancy to such an ordinary man. I say, big sister, you can't have forgotten 3 months ago. You and Lung Fenghua were under the big tree in the garden. Yi Qingluo's voice paused as her charming eyes revealed a crafty smile. That tenderness between the both of you is really like a pair of lovers. Even I who is tens of miles away can hear that voice which makes one's ears turn red. Yi Qingqian was embarrassed and indignant. Her face turned green and white as she trembled with anger. She wanted to teach Yi Qingluo a lesson, but she had not expected Yi Qingluo to be so stifled that she couldn't even say a single word. Yi Qingluo couldn't be bothered with her as she walked straight towards the mercenary group. The ground was littered with the corpses of wild beasts, and the smell of blood was extremely heavy. Yi Qingluo swept a glance at those corpses and immediately spread out her hands towards the group leader. Magic cores and magic crystals. This impolite tone made the group leader stunned for a moment, as he was unable to understand the meaning behind Yi Qingluo's words. Seeing his blank look, Yi Qingluo patiently explained, "Give me all the magic cores and magic crystals collected from the beast horde." Hiss! The mercenaries who were resting on the ground sucked in a cold breath. She had never seen someone so domineering and arrogant, so righteous. The guild leader's face also showed a bit of embarrassment. Although it was all thanks to Yi Qingluo that they were able to escape from danger in this beast tide. But after all, they had suffered heavy losses this time. They might not even be able to earn their employer's share of the money. Yi Qingluo had already led her little kitten to search for most of the magic cores. Moreover, she had also picked up a mana crystal. She had made a huge profit. Logically speaking, he shouldn't pursue the matter of the remaining monster cores with them. Speaking of magic cores, I haven't asked you yet. Yi Qingqian's hands under her sleeves clasped together tightly. This mercenary group is hired by Your Highness. Whatever they get from their hard work should belong to Your Highness. Contribute. Yi Qingluo curled her lips into a smile which didn't look like a smile. Her eyes narrowed as she looked at the group leader. How much effort did you put in? The leader's face stiffened and he lowered his head. At that time when the high-level mirage beast was chasing him, it was Yi Qingluo who made the most accurate calculation for him and warned him, which allowed him to survive. Yi Qingqian gritted her teeth and stared at the group leader resentfully. Then she looked at Yi Qingluo. In short, we have more people, so we should get more. Take out all your magic cores and that magic crystal. Yi Qingluo snorted lightly and rolled her eyes disapprovingly. She spread out her palm towards the group leader. Magic cores and magic crystal. Chapter 244. Xiahoji. Yi Qingqian shouted in a low voice when she saw the group leader took out the brocade bag. Her facial features were distorted, and she could no longer maintain her usual gentleness. You are a mercenary hired by His Highness and me, according to the mercenary group regulations. All your spoils of war today should be handed over to the employer. As she spoke, Yi Qingqian's figure flashed and quickly moved towards Yi Qingluo's direction. She stretched out her hand and tried to snatch the brocade bag from the group leader's hand. Pa! Yi Qingqian felt a burning pain on her wrist. An extremely clear red mark immediately appeared on her fair and slender wrist. Yi Qingqian sucked in a breath of cold air from the pain, and hurriedly withdrew her hand as she grimaced in pain. Immediately, she watched as Yi Qingluo took the brocade bag from the group leader, and waited a few times. Yi Qingluo! Yi Qingqian's arm was already numb, and she didn't even have the strength to lift her hand. What did you do to me? Yi Qingluo ignored her, and directly poured out some magic cores from the brocade bag. About 10 pieces of magic cores. She casually threw them towards the direction of the group leader. These are your compensation. The group leader stretched out his hand, and kept the 10 pieces of magic cores in his palm. His sword-like eyebrows were tightly knitted together. His upright and plain-spoken face revealed traces of suppressed anger. 10 pieces of magic cores? Young lady, are you trying to humiliate us? The mercenaries' faces immediately darkened, although they were filled with reverence towards an expert like Yi Qingluo. But they were a team. Even if Yi Qingluo was an expert, no matter how powerful she was, they would never allow her to humiliate their team in such a way. Yi Qingluo raised her eyebrows. Her cold and charming eyes like the moon outlined a narrow arc. Humiliate? Are you worth my effort to humiliate you? The moment these words came out, those mercenaries' faces turned even uglier. They knew this girl was arrogant, but they didn't expect her to be arrogant to this extent. Yi Qingqian was so angry that her whole body was trembling. The more she trembled, the more painful the numbness of her wrist became. Suddenly, she felt a sweet taste in her throat, and a mouthful of blood spurted out from her mouth. Yi Qingluo's words were obviously meant to ridicule her. The minute she recalled that she was forced to kneel down, Yi Qingluo actually left directly, totally disregarding her behavior. The fury in Yi Qingqian's heart burned even more vigorously. Your contribution today, deducting the cost of saving your lives, 10 pieces of magical beast cores is enough. Yi Qingluo sneered. Soon after, she placed the brocade bag into her sleeves and turned around to walk towards Dmo Xian. At this time, the sky was already beginning to brighten. If they stayed any longer, they would be late for the freshman training. Perhaps Yi Qingqian would catch hold of her weakness and report the matter of her sneaking out of the academy to the academy. One must know that the rules of the Heavenly Academy were extremely strict and would never allow students to leave the academy during non-holidays. The mother and son beast who were snuggling against each other. On seeing that Yi Qingluo's matter had been settled, the mother beast pushed Shiju over to Yi Qingluo's side. The Void Mother was extremely reluctant, but it understood that if it continued to stay, Shiju would probably be even more unwilling to leave it. It had finally made up its mind, but because of this reluctance, it would go back on its word. The mother beast's gaze slowly shifted onto Dmo Xian. Its eyes blinked and returned to Yi Qingluo. Immediately, it nodded its huge leopard head meaningfully. Looks like, even if I am not by Juer's side, it can still enjoy the warmth of home. Wait a minute. The Void Mother's eyes were filled with deep meaning and a teasing smile. What was going on? Chapter 245. Yi Qingluo tried to explain, but Dmo Xian didn't give her a chance. He used his actions to show the mother beast that it absolutely didn't misunderstand. Dmo Xian stretched out his long arm and held onto Yi Qingluo's waist. His thin lips curled up slightly, his pitch-black eyes revealed some tenderness. Don't worry, little Luo, or we'll definitely do what he promised you. The strong and powerful arm imprisoned Yi Qingluo, and she was unable to break free. The scorching hot chest was broad and thick. Yi Qingluo's cheeks flushed red as she slapped the hand on her waist fiercely. Yi Qingluo didn't notice that she had made such a delicate action of a little girl. The mother beast's eyes revealed an envious smile. Gradually, it became a little blurry. Its thoughts seemed to have drifted to a long time ago. It had such a sweet and warm period of time. 2 people and 1 beast finished their final farewell. A white 9-tailed fox descended from the sky. 9 white fluffy tails wrapped around a luxurious carriage. A pair of enchanting beast eyes, exuding a majestic aura, that made one subconsciously submit to it. When it saw the nine-tailed fox, the mother beast suddenly leaped in front of Yiqing Luo. Its fur suddenly stood up as it stared at the nine-tailed fox with extreme vigilance. It let out a low growl. "This is not an enemy." Yiqing Luo hurriedly appeased the mother beast and pointed to Dmo Xian. "This is his contracted battle pet." Little Nine stood quietly in the middle of the rubble. A fluffy tail stretched over and landed beside Yiqing Luo's feet. The mother beast let out a low growl as it stared vigilantly at that tail. "Little Nine, it's been hard on you." Dmo Xian held onto Yiqing Luo as he walked towards that tail. Little Nine's tail immediately curled up, and the both of them were firmly swept into the carriage. It was until the both of them were safely sitting outside the carriage that the mother beast's fur slowly softened. It stared at Dmo Xian with a somewhat strange gaze. "Shiju, let's go." Yiqing Luo waved to that little leopard. Shiju turned its little head and stared deeply at the mother beast. Its little tongue licked its mouth a few times as it let out a low growl. Following that petite body scurried into Yiqing Luo's arms at lightning speed. His tiny head was buried between Yiqing Luo's wrist, unwilling to personally experience this parting. Yiqing Luo rubbed its little head. "Don't worry, you'll be able to see your mother again very soon, trust me." Little Nine extended his four limbs, soaring into the air. The carriage floated in midair. In the blink of an eye, it seemed to have melted into the air and disappeared without a trace. The Void Mother followed the scent for a long distance, and finally stopped at the edge of the fourth level of the magical beast forest. Nine-tailed fox. It can't be right. That unattractive man who stood there like a fool from beginning to end is. The mercenaries raised their heads and looked in the direction where Nine-tailed fox had disappeared, unable to regain their senses for a long time. Xiaoji withdrew his gaze, a complicated look in his eyes. He clenched his fist, and the 10 demon cores in his palm burned painfully. Nine-tailed fox. There was only one person in the world who possessed such a pure and holy nine-tailed fox. That was the legendary figure of the Nirvana realm Dizun. A woman who could be by the side of Dizun was naturally extraordinary. That lady had the capital to be arrogant. Your Highness, is that really Dizun? When Yiqing Qian saw that nine-tailed fox, her face turned ashen as she fell to the ground. Her originally meticulously dressed hair was disheveled, like a crazy woman. Her exquisite, elegant, and beautiful dress was also torn apart piece by piece. The current Yiqing Qian was extremely embarrassed. Nine-tailed fox. Dizun. That man turned out to be Dizun. Idiot. Lung Fenghua's eyes were filled with unconcealable disgust. Chapter 246. Inside the carriage, Yiqing Luo was forcefully pulled into Dmo Xian's arms as she sat on him. The man's chin rested on Yiqing Luo's shoulder. As he spoke, he turned his head to look at Yiqing Luo's side profile. His warm breath made Yiqing Luo's petite body tremble slightly. Dmo Xian. Yiqing Luo tried her best to ignore the hot breath on her cheeks as she pursed her lips and spoke solemnly. There was a hint of seriousness in his tone. Dmo Xian's arms tightened. "Did you ask Little Nine to create the beast tide?" Yiqing Luo asked uncertainly. The mother beast's attitude towards Little Nine was obviously different from Chi-Chi. As a sacred beast, the mother beast had 100% respect for Chi-Chi. However, it was so hostile towards Little Nine. Although Little Nine was different from Chi-Chi, a holy beast among the holy beasts. But after all, its status was above the mirage beasts. The only reason why the mother beast was so vigilant was Little Nine made use of his sacred beast's power to create this wave of beast tide. Because of this, the mother beast treated Little Nine as an enemy. Yes, Dmo Xian was calm. Sure enough. Yiqing Luo's long curly lashes fluttered unnaturally. "Why are you so concerned about me?" She looked sideways and coincidentally met his eyes. Yiqing Luo leaned into his arms. Their bodies were closely pressed against each other. "Is my uniqueness so mesmerizing?" He asked Little Nine to create the beast tide, just to let her grab the opportunity to break through to the mystic profound stage. He spent so much effort, and wasted so much time just to stay by her side. Even if she had something on her that was worth Xian's interest, he could just let Wind keep an eye on her in the dark. There was no need to circle around her and use his charm to lure her to take the bait. You don't know how charming you are. The man's low and hoarse voice reverberated in her heart. It was like a feather, constantly scratching at the bottom of his heart. Xian's hands suddenly exerted force as he carried Yiqing Luo up and turned around. Yiqing Luo was completely straddling the man's lap at this moment. Face to face, for pairs of eyes looked at each other, their breaths on each other's face. Lil Luo, or don't feel too touched in future. There will be many more touching things. Xian's lips curled upwards as his finger caressed Yiqing Luo's eyes. When he first saw her, it was this pair of eyes that attracted his attention. The corners of her long and enchanting eyes shone with a piercingly cold light, but it didn't lose her purity. She was as cold as the moon and as dazzling as the moon. As the seductive light flowed, it also exuded a ruthlessness that did not match her face and age at all. This kind of ruthlessness came from the bones, a ruthlessness that was unyielding and unyielding. Her personality was just too much to his liking. The higher a profound practitioner cultivated, the longer their lifespan would be. Xian had once felt that in the long lonely years ahead, all he could do was to muddle along day by day, until he was sick of this kind of life. However, Yiqing Luo had inadvertently entered his eyes. It ignited his heart that had been cold and lonely for a long time. Perhaps, to find this scourge, to bring disaster to the heavens together with him, then the days ahead would be even more exciting. Xian gazed at Yiqing Luo's face, as the smile on his lips became increasingly gentle, revealing an evil charm. Yiqing Luo pursed her pink lips, but didn't reject Xian's hug. The man's gentle gaze, simple but warm words, every word and sentence, stirred up circles of ripples in Yiqing Luo's heart. Unknowingly in this warm atmosphere, Little Nine stopped at a corner not far away from the Heavenly Academy. Little Nine had calculated the time very accurately. In another 1 hour, it would be the freshman training time. Chapter 247. Xian's elegant brows were slightly hooked. His devilishly handsome face revealed a trace of charm, because of the spirited look in his eyes. For a man to be able to display his flirtatiousness and laziness to the fullest without losing his fortitude, as well as his innate power to look down on the entire world, was something that was hard to describe. In this world, there was probably only Xian alone. Forgot again, how to call me? Xian lowered his head. His long arms once again took Yiqing Luo into his arms. Yiqing Luo's cheeks turned hot, recalling the Xian he asked her to call. Her face became even hotter. Forgot? Then let me make you remember. Just as the voice fell, Yiqing Luo's body felt light. Her waist was tightly embraced by the man's arms. He had bent over her, and his lips were on hers. Gentle and deep, extremely lingering. As if all the emotions were melted into this kiss. Yiqing Luo's nose was filled with the man's rich sandalwood scent. Her mind with a bang went blank. The blush on her face seemed to spread throughout her body and mind. Her whole body was ignited with a slight heat. Their black hair flew, intertwined together, 10 fingers clasped tightly, as if to indicate that they would be entangled together forever. Xian's arms around her waist wrapped even tighter. His lips slowly moved to Yiqing Luo's ear. His breathing was heavy and scorching. Call me. The low hoarse voice, with some kind of repressed emotion, made Yiqing Luo's eyes even more blurred. Her delicate body was almost hanging in Xian's arms, leaning on his chest, listening to her heartbeat, and hearing his unique charming whisper. Yiqing Luo thought, there was probably no one in this world who could escape such temptation. Slender fingers subconsciously clenched the man's lapel. In her heart, a decision was formed. She was not the kind of person who liked to be tangled and let her imagination run wild. In her world, it was either black or white. There was no middle color. Like was like, hate was hate, she didn't like to guess. And because of this, after this decision was formed, Yiqing Luo had already raised her head. Her charming eyes were suffused with flowing light. revealing some seriousness in seriousness. "Diemo Xian, do you like me?" The man's pitch-black eyes reflected her face. Yiqing Luo could feel the sweat seeping out from her palms. She could feel her petite body tensing up, trembling slightly. Nervous, filled with anxiety, she waited for Diemo Xian's answer. Between her and Diemo Xian, no one had ever opened their mouth to break this kind of ambiguity. Yiqing Luo didn't want to go on like this with him. Liking was liking. If he didn't like it, they should change the way they interacted. Otherwise, her heart would really be stirred by Diemo Xian. If he didn't love her, then he should cut off all possibilities as soon as possible. Maintaining a friendship was good for both of them. Diemo Xian Huan loosened his grip on her waist. That pair of obsidian-like devastating and dazzling black pupils stared at Yiqing Luo with a slightly deep expression. He didn't say a word and Yiqing Luo didn't rush him. After some time, it was until the academy's bell rang that Yiqing Luo restrained the nervousness in her heart as she clenched her fists. "Think carefully about what kind of relationship we should use to continue getting along. The next time we meet, I'll be waiting for your answer." Her thin lips slightly hooked. She pulled out the wooden token representing her own information from her waist and handed it to Diemo Xian. "Help me do something to cover up my profound grade." This wooden token would be updated once a day. It would change the information of the holder of the wooden token in time. If the people in the academy found out that she had advanced from Yellow Profound 9th grade to Mystic Profound 4th grade overnight, it would definitely attract the attention of the academy. Chapter 248. Diemo Xian's eyes were deep as he stared at Yiqing Luo's face for a long time before he received the wooden token. He placed both hands on the wooden token and immediately returned it to her. "If you want to change the profound grade information on the wooden token, just use the power of the profound jade heart." Yiqing Luo nodded and kept the wooden token, thanked him, and turned to walk towards the academy. Diemo Xian didn't stop her, but stared deeply at her back until she disappeared from his sight before he retracted his gaze. The lady's clear and serious voice rang in his ears. "Diemo Xian, do you like me?" Right. If he didn't like her, he wouldn't have allowed Yiqing Luo to offend him again and again. He wouldn't be willing to stay by her side and pay attention to everything about her. But this kind of was it love? He understood the meaning behind Yiqing Luo's question. He knew what Yiqing Luo wanted, but he couldn't answer. After living for so long, Diemo Xian had never loved anyone. As for love, he couldn't understand it. He couldn't tell if he could give Yiqing Luo the kind of feelings she wanted. Back at the dormitory, Yiqing Luo placed Shiju and Chi-Chi into the pet space. She quickly fetched a basin of water for herself, washed up and quickly dressed up, just in time for the freshman training. After 2 days of habit, the moment Instructor Ho gave the order, the students didn't waste their saliva to complain as they lined up and started running around the square. Sure enough, as Yiqing Luo expected, just when she was on the 4th lap, Yiqing Qian led Lu Shuiyu to the square. The moment they saw the students from the high profound class, and 2 beautiful ladies at that, the freshmen looked over. "It's the senior sister from the high profound class and the vice president. Isn't that the genius Missy from Three Springs sect? No wonder she's the #1 beauty in Three Springs town. She looks so good." Listening to the exclamations of the crowd, Yiqing Luo snorted disdainfully. Yiqing Qian saw Yiqing Luo, who was jogging in front from afar. Her well-manicured eyebrows frowned. "That slut really left the academy last night?" Lu Shuiyu's brows were filled with coldness as she asked coldly. Yiqing Qian smiled eerily. "His Highness told me personally." She cleverly covered up the fact that she had also left the academy last night and used Lung Feng Hua as a shield. According to the academy's rules, as long as we can prove that the little bitch really left the academy last night, she had a way to chase Yiqing Luo out of the academy. Lu Shuiyu's eyes were cold, and the corners of her mouth curved into a sinister smile. When Instructor Chu saw Lu Shuiyu, his expressionless face frowned and showed some disgust. He walked over and said in a cold voice, "Why did the vice president come to the square?" The faculty council has received a secret report that one of the freshmen has violated the academy's rules. I have come here to verify the situation, Lu Shuiyu said in a businesslike manner. Instructor Chu frowned and subconsciously glanced at the completely unaffected Yiqing Luo, who was still jogging. For Lu Shuiyu to make an appearance, it was probably related to Yiqing Luo. A tall tree attracts the wind. This new student was too outstanding and had a stubborn personality. He had made too many enemies, and every day, trouble would come to him. Sure enough, he heard Lu Shuiyu said, "Instructor, please call student Yi over." Instructor Chu was about to speak when a cold voice came from behind. "The students are training. If there's anything, the vice president will come after the training is over." It was Instructor Ho. Chapter 249. Lu Shuiyu's expression stiffened, as if she had not expected Instructor Ho to not give her any face. Yiqing Qian furrowed her brows, pretending to be gentle, but a trace of jealousy seeped out. "Instructor, if this freshman really violates the rules, he will be driven out of the academy. Whether he is trained or not, it doesn't matter anymore. As long as she is still a student of the Heavenly Academy, she is my student." Instructor Ho snorted coldly without giving her any face. He had never liked to talk, but now he was staring at Yiqing Qian preaching. As a student of the high profound class, if you have so much time to care about the freshmen, you might as well cultivate diligently. Don't embarrass the high profound class. Yiqing Qian's face suddenly darkened, her hands clenched into fists, suppressing the surging anger in her heart. Although Instructor Ho was just a freshman training instructor, but he had trained many elite students and had quite a prestige in the academy. Moreover, the Heavenly Academy emphasized on respecting the teachers, and now that she was reprimanded, Yiqing Qian could not refute a word. "Instructor is right." Lu Shuiyu waited for Instructor Ho to finish and continued. "I called Yiqing Qian to accompany me because the freshman who was tipped off is Yiqing Luo." She raised her voice slightly. The freshmen who were running on the square heard her words. One by one, they looked at Yiqing Luo, who was jogging at a constant speed, and whispered to each other. Why was it that every day, this freshman could create some trouble, causing them, a group of freshmen, to be criticized and pointed at by other students all day long? Instructor must be very clear about student Ye's character. Student Yiqing Qian is student Ye's elder sister. I specially called her over to have a good talk with her. Lu Shuiyu's words not only helped Yiqing Qian out of trouble, but also belittled Yiqing Luo as a problem student who refused to be disciplined. Instructor Ho frowned slightly and was about to speak, but Lu Shuiyu had already passed him and walked directly towards the square. She stood beside the inner line of the square. Yiqing Luo jogged and came face to face. "Student Yi, please follow me to the faculty council." Lu Shuiyu stretched out her arm and blocked Yiqing Luo's way. Yiqing Luo's footsteps were steady, and her breathing was steady. She raised her eyes and glanced at Lu Shuiyu indifferently, as the corners of her lips tugged upwards in disdain. She bypassed Lu Shuiyu's hand and continued to jog. Lu Shuiyu's raised arm froze in midair, her face ashen. Yiqing Luo actually dared to throw her face in front of so many students. If Yiqing Luo wasn't taught a lesson, these freshmen would really think that faculty council was easy to bully. "Student Yi, I order you in the name of the Vice President of the Faculty Council to cooperate with all the investigations of the Faculty Council. If you don't abide by the Academy's rules, don't blame me for reporting this to the principal." Lu Shuiyu narrowed her eyes. Her expression was dignified. The students were in an uproar. One by one, they retracted their necks, afraid that they would be involved in this matter. If he were to report this to the principal, he would definitely be expelled from the academy. If he was forced to leave by the Heavenly Academy, the other academies would not accept him nor dare to accept him. This also meant that after being chased out of the Heavenly Academy, his entire life would be ruined. "What right do you have to investigate just because you say so?" Lu Xiaoyu panted heavily as she ran to Lu Shuiyu's side and stopped in her tracks. Her little face was filled with anger. Due to the long period of jogging, her face was flushed red from holding back. Just entered the academy, and the faculty council forcefully escorted Qing Luo to the faculty council, saying, "What investigation? It's only been a few days, and you're already finding excuses to say what investigation? Do you really think that you're the god of the academy, and everyone revolves around you?" Lu Xiaoyu spat out fiercely. Her face was filled with disdain. "If you have the ability, get me into the devil class too. You're just a lackey of the faculty council, and you really think that you're a human?" Chapter 250. You. No matter how cool Lu Shuiyu was, being scolded by a freshman at this time, the anger in her heart was burning. "Lu Xiaoyu, you publicly insulted your senior, and insulted the staff of the faculty council. Believe it or not, I can expel you from the academy just based on these 2 points. Yo. Lu Xiaoyu put her hands on her hips, puffed out her chest, and looked like a rascal. It turns out that the faculty council is such a place to bully people. Well, I want to see what means you people from the faculty council are going to use to bully a freshman like me." Lu Shuiyu's face was as black as charcoal. Her malicious and resentful eyes stared at Lu Xiaoyu. If it wasn't in public, Lu Shuiyu would definitely slap her in the face. When the freshmen and seniors around saw this scene, they were all mourning for Lu Xiaoyu. It was the first time they saw someone daring to openly provoke the faculty council. Did these 2 freshmen not want to live anymore? Did they not want to stay in the academy anymore? Many students were in an uproar, and there was a lot of discussion. The more they discussed, the darker Lu Shuiyu's face became. That pair of malicious eyes shot out a ruthless intent. As the vice president of the faculty council, this identity could help Lu Shuiyu get a lot of things in the academy. But at the same time, she would also lose a lot of things. For example, no matter how angry she was, she must suppress all the anger. On the surface, she must not let any students catch her in the slightest. Lu Shuiyu took a deep breath and suppressed her anger. She gritted her teeth and spat out each word. The purpose of the faculty council's existence is to maintain the peace of the academy, to maintain the order of the academy. We don't want to be gods in the eyes of the students. The only thing we want is that when any student is in trouble, the faculty council can provide them with help. Student Yi was secretly reported, so the faculty council naturally needs to ask Student Yi to verify it. After explaining till here, Lu Shuiyu's head that was clouded by anger was much clearer. Her eyes were gloomy, and she snorted coldly. "But you as a freshman have been secretly reported again and again. That is your own problem. How can you blame it on the faculty council? Your words are even better than your singing." Lu Xiaoyu spat again. Just as he was about to open his mouth to ridicule Lu Shuiyu, he suddenly heard a clear voice. "So your faculty council is a place where you can hear the wind and hear the rain." At the end of the public square, Yiqing Luo was holding a white handkerchief, wiping the tears on her forehead as she walked over slowly. She had finished the 5 laps that the instructor had set for all the students, and she had run 1 more lap. Originally, Yiqing Luo was prepared to try running 10 laps today. But now, she saw Lu Xiaoyu arguing with Lu Shuiyu because of her. With Lu Xiaoyu's personality, the 2 of them would probably fight. The other party had his own influence and status in the academy. If they were to fight head-on, Lu Xiaoyu would definitely not be able to gain any advantage. Might as well. Yiqing Luo planned to settle the faculty council's trivial matters first before completing all the training in one go. "I request to report this to the faculty council. The president and vice president of the faculty council have a strange habit. They always like to go to the dormitories, one by one, to peek at the female students bathing after the freshmen's training." Yiqing Luo raised her brows. Her voice was clear and melodious. Almost everyone in the square could hear her teasing words. "Uft." Peeping at female students, the students laughed out loud on the spot. One by one, they began to imagine the scene of the mysterious president, pulling along the elegant and noble vice president, peeping at the female students bathing together. After they finished imagining, their expressions were strange. Even the gaze that looked at Lu Shuiyu revealed some strange and ridiculing. Chapter 251. You, what nonsense are you talking about? Lu Shuiyu's pretty face flushed red. Her eyes were as vicious as ice. President is elegant and holy. He is busy with the school's official affairs. How could he do such a dirty thing? Student Yi, if you continue to create trouble, I will bring you to the dean right now. Yi Qingluo sneered. She couldn't help but shake her head and sigh. Si Yanmu was really capable. He actually charmed Lu Shuiyu into submission. Being slandered, Lu Shuiyu was only worried about Si Yanmu's reputation. She didn't care about herself at all. Lu Shuiyu's feelings towards Si Yanmu was totally a kind of sick obsession. Yi Qingluo shrugged her shoulders, spread out her hands and said helplessly, "If the faculty council does not investigate, how can you prove that the president will not do such a dirty thing? How can you prove that you don't have such a special hobby? You are slandering me." This was the first time for Lu Shuiyu to meet such a sharp-tongued freshman. She had never suffered any humiliation, but she had fallen into Yi Qingluo's trap again and again. She was so angry that her face turned ugly. Seeing that the situation was once again under Yi Qingluo's control, Lu Shuiyu couldn't say a word. Yi Qingqian's eyes were cold, revealing a hint of murderous intent. She clenched her fists, and when she looked up, the resentment in her eyes dissipated, revealing a kind smile, and walked towards Yi Qingluo. Seventh sister, Shuiyu is the vice president of the faculty council. She has been in the school for many years. The school knows her temperament best. Yi Qingqian put on a caring look, stretched out her hand to pull Yi Qingluo's wrist. You can do whatever you want at home, but this is the Heavenly Academy. If there is no evidence, don't talk nonsense. Yi Qingluo avoided her hand and patted her wrist with a disgusted look. Investigating me without any explanation. Does the faculty council have any evidence? If there is no evidence, what right do you have to look for me again and again? After a pause, a crafty look flashed past her eyes, and her lips revealed a coquettish smile. It is said that the faculty council is established for students to study well in the school. Now what vice president is doing is considered as harassing a freshman like me. She raised her eyebrows and straightened her uniform. Since the vice president said that he would bring me to see the dean, then let's do it. I can also ask the dean, is the faculty council really established for the academy to harass students and prevent students from training? Yi Qingluo's words made the surrounding students stunned by her domineering manner. This new student was simply too arrogant. Yet so arrogant, so handsome and domineering. This kind of arrogance, when displayed by Yi Qingluo, was a kind of temperament. It was a temperament that made it impossible for people to feel disgusted by such arrogance. Lu couldn't help but feeling. Lu Shuiyu was rendered speechless. Her face, which had always been cold and elegant, was now flushed with embarrassment. Yi Qingqian secretly gritted her teeth. It wasn't easy for the faculty council to come forward. She must not miss this opportunity. If she did not give last Yi a Shui Qingqing, she was as a Yi Qing. Not last night, you was Shi Qingqing had Yi Qing. You want evidence? She really had evidence. Yi Qingqian sneered, and in the blink of an eye, the gentle mask hung on her face again. Evidence? Of course there is evidence. Otherwise sister will not accompany vice president to question you. Yi Qingjian pinched her soft voice and set out the academy's rules. The academy's rules are written very clearly. During the period of time in the academy, other than holidays, you are not allowed to leave the academy. If you violate the academy's rules, you will be expelled immediately. Chapter 252. Yi Qingluo propped up her chin. A trace of doubt surfaced on her fair face. Last night? After training last night, I rested in the dormitory. When did I leave the academy? His Highness saw it with his own eyes. You and a strange man appeared in the magic beast forest. Yi Qingqian's beautiful eyes were filled with a gentle light as she said softly, "Tell him everything now. Be honest and I will plead for leniency to the academy for you." She deliberately concealed Dmo Xian's identity. If it involved the overlord, the academy would probably not punish Yiqing Luo too heavily on account of the overlord. What she wanted was for Yiqing Luo to leave the Heavenly Academy forever, to be reviled and ridiculed by the world, never to recover from this setback. Waste should live a waste's life. However, there was no hint of fear on Yiqing Luo's face. Elder sister is amazing. You didn't leave the academy and could meet with His Highness, and even get news about me from him. Don't tell me. Elder sister also sneaked out of the academy last night to meet with His Highness? Yiqing Luo blinked her eyes innocently. So elder sister and His Highness have such a good relationship. You can't help it even after a day. Previously in Three Springs sect, elder sister and His Highness had a secret meeting every night. I didn't expect elder sister and His Highness to still be so close after coming to the academy. Yiqing Qian's face turned green and white, with some panic in her eyes. Yiqing Luo really dared to say anything. This kind of private talk, although Yiqing Luo didn't say it in detail. But who in the crowd didn't understand? Many students had long heard that Three Springs City's #1 beauty, Three Springs sect's eldest Missy, Yiqing Qian, had an affair with His Highness behind her sister's back. But rumors were after all rumors, without any confirmation. Everyone just treated it as a joke and let it pass. But now, they heard it with their own ears. The main character of the rumor said these words personally. The matter of Yiqing Qian and His Highness secretly having an affair was true. Many students looked at Yiqing Qian with all kinds of gazes. Some bold male students stared at Yiqing Qian's beautiful figure unbridled. If it was any other time, when Yiqing Qian heard this, she would definitely nod proudly to admit it and humiliate Yiqing Luo. But now, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, if she admitted to what she had said, her reputation would be completely ruined. Seventh younger sister, what are you talking about? There's nothing between His Highness and me. Yiqing Qian pretended to be shocked and picked up the embroidered handkerchief to suppress the non-existent tears in the corner of her eyes. His Royal Highness is your fiancé. As the future crown princess, you've been slandering His Royal Highness behind his back all day long. If you marry him in the future, you'll be the one being laughed at. Yiqing Luo sneered. Going against your conscience to say such words, you really can endure it. No wonder the crown prince is so infatuated with you. Yiqing Qian's face turned paler by the minute. She felt that the gazes of the students around her were filled with ridicule and obscenity. The taut string in his brain snapped. The gentle mask on Yiqing Qian's face gradually cracked. Just as she was about to open her mouth to argue with Yiqing Luo, a hand was placed on her shoulder. That hand grabbed her shoulder and flung it away casually. I have no interest to listen to the matter of you two sisters fighting over a man. Lu Shuiyu's icy cold voice was heard. The purpose of my visit today is to verify whether student Yi has violated the rules. Other matters can be discussed later. Lu Shuiyu only insisted on one thing, and that was to hand over the wooden token to prove that Yiqing Luo had violated the rules. On what basis do you insist that the wooden token is the evidence? Yiqing Luo clenched the wooden token on her waist tightly in her palm, her slender brows knitted tightly. Can the faculty council malign the freshmen at will? All right. As long as you can prove your innocence and prove that the faculty council has wronged you, I will promise you one thing unconditionally. Previously, when Lu Shuiyu heard Yiqing Qian's words, she had some suspicions in her heart. Although Yiqing Qian had brought out Leng Fenghua, but who could determine whether this was Yiqing Qian's lie or not? But at this time, under Yiqing Luo's covert hint, Lu Shuiyu completely believed Yiqing Qian's words. Yiqing Luo was waiting for Lu Shuiyu to fall into the trap. Between her brows, there was a treacherous sneer, but her lips were slightly pursed as she looked towards Yiqing Jian. Chapter 254. You trust my eldest sister so much? Yiqing Luo pursed her lips, struggling to lower her eyes, and stared at the wooden token on her waist. She looked like she was making a final struggle. I'm just doing what a vice president should do. Yi-Ching Luo's fingers curled up as she approached Lu Shuiyu and spoke in a voice that only the both of them could hear. Aren't you afraid that Yi-Ching Qian knew that we are not on good terms and is using you to suppress my arrogance? Lu Shuiyu's face was cold as she snorted. Does she have the guts? The faculty council's status in the academy could be said to be second only to one but above tens of thousands. Although Yi-Ching Qian was the Missy of Three Springs sect, in this academy, she had to obey the rules. Yi-Ching Qian naturally did not dare to offend the faculty council. Dare to lie to her? Was it possible? Then what if? Yi-Ching Luo seemed to be trying her best to convince Lu Shuiyu. What if I take out the wooden token to prove my innocence? In the end, the one who will be accused of bullying others would be the faculty council. However, Lu Shuiyu had never thought that Yi-Ching Luo was digging a pit for her step by step. And she foolishly followed Yi-Ching Luo into the pit. You don't need to worry about this. Lu Shuiyu frowned impatiently. Just give me the wooden token, and don't waste your training time. Yi-Ching Luo's face showed a helpless look as her pink lips trembled slightly. After a while, she untied the wooden token from her waist. The one who reported that I violated the academy's rules is my eldest sister. I will take responsibility for my own actions. Since it was Big Sister who reported it, I won't implicate the vice president. Yi-Ching Luo put on an understanding look. If my innocence is proven, I only need eldest sister to promise me one thing. Sure. Lu Shuiyu thought that Yi-Ching Luo was struggling at the last moment. And, I need an apology from you. Yi-Ching Luo's eyes flashed slightly as her lips curled into a smile. Lu Shuiyu hesitated for a moment before nodding. No problem. Yi-Ching Luo flicked her fingers, and the wooden token fell into Lu Shuiyu's palm. She had long guessed that Yi-Ching Qian would absolutely take the opportunity to create trouble. The function of the wooden token automatically updating her profound rank was indeed too easy to expose all her information. Fortunately, she had such a heaven-defying man by her side. Dmo Xian used his profound energy to replace the original energy in the wooden token. Unless one's profound grade was higher than Dmo Xian's, it was impossible to detect the changes in the wooden token. Because of this, when Lu Shuiyu held the wooden token and used her profound energy to check, she discovered the information displayed on it: name, Yi-Ching Luo, gender, female, age, 15, profound rank, yellow, profound 9th grade, identity, young lord of the Three Springs sect, 7th miss of the Yi clan. Lu Shuiyu's expression changed slightly as she glanced sideways at Yi-Ching Qian's direction. Yi-Ching Qian's face was filled with complacency, as though she had foreseen Yi-Ching Luo's expulsion from the academy. That expression did not seem to be fake. Lu Shuiyu's palm swept across the wooden tablet again. However, the information displayed was still the same. Yellow, profound 9th grade. Yellow, profound 9th grade. No matter how you looked at it, the profound rank was yellow, profound 9th grade. When Yi-Ching Luo entered the academy, she was already at yellow, profound 9th grade. Yi-Ching Luo did not break through at all. This also meant that the academy's wooden token was proof that Yi-Ching Luo did not leave the academy last night. She did not violate the academy's rules. Lu Shuiyu's face turned ashen as she gripped the wooden token tightly, almost crushing it into pieces. How much longer does Vice President want to look? Yi-Ching Luo's lips curled up as she tilted her head innocently. Can you return the wooden token to me? Innocent my foot. Chapter 255. Lu Shuiyu's gaze was icy cold. She was so angry that she couldn't stop trembling. This was the first time she was toyed with by a freshman. While Lu Shuiyu hated Yi-Ching Luo, she also hated Yi-Ching Qian. If it wasn't for Yi-Ching Qian, she wouldn't be able to appear here today and wouldn't bring shame to the faculty council. If Si Yanmu's reputation was damaged, how could she be at ease? How could she be reconciled? Lu Shuiyu secretly cursed herself in her heart. For so many years, she had been calm when she encountered things. Other than Si Yanmu, nothing else could stir up her emotions. But unfortunately, in front of Yi-Ching Luo, She repeatedly lost control. She didn't even notice the change in Yiqing Luo. From the beginning, Yiqing Luo had deliberately created an illusion that there was a problem with her wooden token to deceive her eyes. If she was a little more attentive, Lu Shuiyu might be able to discover that Yiqing Luo's attitude was completely different from the usual insolence. I have misunderstood student Yi. After a long while, Lu Shuiyu gritted her teeth and squeezed out these few words one by one. She handed the wooden token back. Yiqing Luo took it and pinned it on her waist again. I have said from the beginning that this is a misunderstanding, but Vice President chose to believe my eldest sister. I have no choice. Lu Shuiyu's face was gloomy. Her eyes glanced at Yiqing Qian and sneered. Since it is a misunderstanding, then I shall not disturb student Ye's training. After that, she flicked her sleeves and walked quickly towards Yiqing Qian's direction. Wait! Yiqing Luo called out to Lu Shuiyu, her brows raised slightly, revealing a hint of ridicule. Vice President, you still owe me an apology. Her innocence was proved. Yiqing Qian unconditionally agreed to a request of hers. And Lu Shuiyu wanted to apologize to her in front of so many students. Vice President promised me in front of so many students. Don't tell me you want to go back on your words? Yiqing Luo raised her brows, finishing her words, as she stared at Lu Shuiyu with a vicious glare. Yiqing Luo waved her hand helplessly. All right, since Vice President wants to go back on her words, then forget it, it's just an apology. My innocence has been confirmed, that's enough. Such magnanimity and knowing when to advance and retreat made Lu Shuiyu's face turn black. F***ck. Yiqing Luo had already said so. If she really didn't apologize and put on the airs of the Vice President, who knows how this group of students would talk about the faculty council behind their backs. Lu Shuiyu was so angry that her face turned ashen, as she cursed Yiqing Qian in her heart. She took a deep breath and turned around, facing Yiqing Luo's direction, spitting out 3 words one by one. I'm sorry. Yiqing Luo dug her ears and raised her voice. Ah? What did you say? Why can't I hear it clearly? Who are you apologizing to and why? Yiqing Luo's words made the students present as well as the instructors stunned. Holy shit! Was there anyone who rubbed their noses in the face like this? Yet, Shifeng still dared to make fun of the vice guild leader, who had always been cold and aloof, lower his head and apologize. In the entire academy, probably only Yiqing Luo alone dared to do this. Listening to the discussions of the surrounding students, Lu Shuiyu's face became increasingly gloomy. She suppressed her anger and clenched her fists. Student Yi, I sincerely apologize to you on behalf of the faculty council. I shouldn't have misunderstood you for breaking the rules. Chapter 256. As long as student Yi doesn't do anything that violates the academy's rules or the academy's balance, the faculty council will naturally not look for you. Lu Shuiyu resisted the urge to vomit blood and turned to leave. Wait! Yiqing Luo opened her mouth to call out to her again. Previously Vice President said that if you've wronged me, then you must agree to one request of mine, and this request was passed to my eldest sister. So it should still count, right? Lu Shuiyu coldly snorted. Of course. When Yiqing Qian heard this, she realized that something was wrong and her expression changed drastically. How could it be possible? She definitely went to the Magic Beast Forest last night. Student Yiqing Qian, if there's no evidence and you speak without thinking, the faculty council can fabricate false news to deceive the members of the faculty council and bring you back to the faculty council for guidance. Lu Shuiyu shot a cold glance at Yiqing Qian as she avoided her outstretched hand. When Lu Shuiyu saw her, she felt extremely vexed. I'm not lying. She definitely went to the Magic Beast Forest last night, and even advanced. That wooden token isn't. Yiqing Qian froze on the spot in shock. Profound ranked, yellow profound 9th grade. Lu Shuiyu glanced at her coldly. Classmate Ye's profound level is normal. There are no signs of advancement. If a profound practitioner was about to advance, or had already advanced, profound chi fluctuations would seep out from the academy's wooden plaque. Whereas on Yiqing Luo's wooden token, other than the stable yellow profound 9th grade profound qi, there wasn't the slightest bit of profound qi. Impossible. Yiqing Qian's eyes widened as she cried out in disbelief. She had witnessed with her own eyes that in the battle between Yiqing Luo and Lung Fenghua, Yiqing Luo had broken through to the mystic profound grade, and had even directly advanced 4 grades. The Academy's wooden token would absolutely update Yiqing Luo's latest grade. How could it still be at the yellow Xian 9th grade? How could there be no profound waves? Yiqing Qian was puzzled. Big sister, I've been obedient and followed the rules since I was young. Why would I break the rules of the Academy? Yiqing Luo laughed lightly as she brushed her long hair behind her head. Since Vice President has already promised me on behalf of eldest sister, then we have to do things according to the rules. Even if we are sisters, we have to settle the accounts clearly. Obedient? Yiqing Qian's lips twitched as her face was filled with disgust. She really couldn't tell which part of Yiqing Luo was so obedient. Hearing Yiqing Luo's last sentence, Yiqing Qian's face turned ashen. Agree to a request from Yiqing Luo? Would she be able to survive? Why is Big Sister's face so pale? You don't have to be afraid. After all, Big Sister was also deceived by the Crown Prince. We are sisters, so I won't let you commit murder and arson. Yiqing Luo covered her mouth as she giggled. The charm between her brows revealed a captivating charm. For the next 3 days, you will be in charge of the Academy's latrines. You. Yiqing Qian's face turned pitch black and gloomy. She furiously raised her hand and pointed at Yiqing Luo, so angry that her entire body was trembling. Yiqing Luo, you dare to ask me to sweep the latrine? Not just cleaning the latrines. Yiqing Luo's lips curled upwards as she gave an incomparably elegant smile. But to clean up all the toilets in the Academy one by one. The toilet bowl and waste paper basket cannot be left behind. Don't you dare. Cleaning the bathroom and scrubbing the toilet? She wouldn't do it even if she was beaten to death. If she did that, how would she have the face to continue staying in this academy? Yiqing Luo raised her eyebrows and squinted her eyes. This is what Vice President promised. If you don't agree, wouldn't it be a slap to Vice President's face? That's what she promised. You let her. Yiqing Qian's mind suddenly sobered up and immediately stopped talking. Chapter 257. A slut would be tormented by a wicked person. Just like Yiqing Qian, she usually bullied others. But in front of Lu Shuiyu, she became timid. Under the influence of Yi Tianquang, Yiqing Qian still had her inferiority complex. As the eldest daughter of the Yi family, the eldest daughter of the Three Springs sect, she was just a concubine's daughter. No matter how famous her name was, no matter how much Yi Tianquang doted on her, it couldn't change the fact that she was born of a concubine. In particular, Yiqing Qian learned a bit from Yi Tianquang's fawning manner. Towards the faculty council, Yiqing Qian always had a fawning attitude. As Yiqing Luo said, this was Lu Shuiyu's request. But Yiqing Luo put this request on her, and Lu Shuiyu also acquiesced. If she didn't agree, it would be a slap on Lu Shuiyu's face, making her lose her face. Yiqing Qian's gentle and delicate face could no longer maintain her fairy-like mask. Her facial features were hideous, distorted and horrifying. Yiqing Luo had this idea from the beginning. She wanted to make it hard for her to back down. Refusing would offend Lu Shuiyu. If not, her reputation would be ruined, and she would become a joke in the Heavenly Academy forever. Eldest sister, I still have other training to do. I won't waste time with you here. Yiqing Luo smiled elegantly, her eyes were gleaming. This flowing light revealed a strong sense of ridicule and ridicule. Yiqing Qian was so angry that she couldn't say a word. She heard Yiqing Luo continued to laugh. There's no time like the present. Eldest sister shall start from today. Yiqing Luo, you. Not waiting for Yiqing Qian to speak, Yiqing Luo directly interrupted her and looked at Lu Shuiyu with a sweet and harmless smile. Vice President is a person who keeps her promise. I think she will definitely supervise my eldest sister to complete the request. The two women, bright and beautiful faces, were as black as the bottom of a pot. The target they wanted to deal with was smiling like a flower, stretching her limbs, while returning to the inner track, jogging again. Shui Shuiyu, I can't. Yi Qingqian's face was ashen, turned to Lu Shuiyu, trying to plead. Lu Shuiyu gave a cold humph. Student Yi Qingqian, this is how you play with my trust in you. Very well. Since student Yi has already stated her request, you can go and do it now. I will let the members of the faculty council supervise you. Saying that, she didn't bother about Yi Qingqian, whose face was as pale as paper as she flicked her sleeves and left the square. Yi Qingqian was in disbelief. This was clearly a request that Lu Shuiyu had agreed to. Could it be that Lu Shuiyu really wanted her to clean the toilet? On the track, Lu Xiaoyu caught up with Yi Qingluo's pace and followed beside her. You scared me to death. Lu Xiaoyu wiped the sweat off her forehead. God knows how flustered I was when I was scolding Lu Shuiyu. Yi Qingluo laughed lightly. At this time, Lu Xiaoyu still stood by her side unconditionally and spoke out to protect her. This action made Yi Qingluo feel warmth in her heart. Are you really not afraid of the faculty council coming to find trouble with you? Seeing Yi Qingluo's relaxed and contented expression, Lu Xiaoyu asked curiously. Haven't they found enough trouble? Yi Qingluo scoffed. Next, let's just watch them bite each other. They probably won't have the time to find trouble with me. She intentionally transferred Lu Shuiyu's agreed request to Yi Qingqian, in order to arouse Yi Qingqian's hatred towards Lu Shuiyu. And before she took out the wooden token, she gave Lu Shuiyu a hint. This hint, Lu Shuiyu naturally thought that she had been used by Yi Qingqian. Chapter 258. Dog biting dog? Lu Xiaoyu glanced at the two people who left one after the other, as she suddenly realized something. I was just saying, you could have taken the opportunity to teach Lu Shuiyu a lesson, but you actually changed it to Yi Qingqian, so. Ha ha ha. Those two people were a united front to deal with Yi Qingluo, but after what Yi Qingluo did, these two people were blaming each other. How would they continue to cooperate? Lu Xiaoyu was totally in awe of Yi Qingluo. She easily targeted Lu Shuiyu and Yi Qingqian's Achilles heel, one by one. For a proud lady like Lu Shuiyu, today was probably the first time she lowered her head and apologized to a new student. And it was in front of so many students. Lu Shuiyu's pride had definitely suffered a blow. Of course, Lu Shuiyu didn't care about her own reputation, but she cared about Si Yanmu, cared about the faculty council which Si Yanmu cared about. The faculty council's reputation after today would probably drop significantly. Si Yanmu's reputation as the president would more or less be affected. To Lu Shuiyu, this was the real punishment. As for Yi Qingqian, who was known as the #1 beauty in Three Springs City, was punished to wash the latrine for 3 days. If this reputation spread, Yi Qingqian would be a joke no matter where she went. Especially concerned about her own reputation, Yi Qingqian, who always pretended to be a white lotus. Her reputation was ruined. To be ridiculed, this to her was the heaviest punishment. Train, there's a tough battle in the afternoon, hurry up. Yi Qingluo adjusted her breathing and gradually increased her speed. Lu Xiaoyu sighed softly. Yi Qingluo was allocated to Devil class and would report to Devil class in the afternoon. Although Devil class was a rubbish class, with Yi Qingluo's ability, it shouldn't be a problem. But after all, Devil class could make all the students stay away from it, and it was so mysterious that even the academy's students didn't know who was in Devil class. And staying in the waste class for so long, those students' tempers was definitely very weird. If Yi Qingluo first entered Devil class, to integrate into Devil class, it would indeed be a tough battle. The two of them didn't continue chatting and started to run faster. After 10 rounds, Yi Qingluo felt extremely tired. Last night, she fought with the magical beasts and fought with Lung Fenghua before advancing. After a sleepless night, she was already exhausted. After 10 laps, Yi Qingluo's whole body was heavy, and she couldn't wait to fall into bed and sleep. Go to the training ground first and repeat the movements you arranged yesterday. After that, go back to the dormitory to rest. Instructor Ho's voice came from behind. He could tell that Yiqing Luo was exhausted. After 10 rounds inside the square, there were still people standing. Till now there was only Yiqing Luo. Instructor Ho couldn't help but want to see how far this new student, whose physique and strength were out of this world, could go. Lu Xiaoyu, who had finished her 7th lap, was stretching her limbs and panting as she walked over. When she heard Instructor Ho's words, she was dumbfounded. Double? Isn't that too cruel? Today, Yiqing Luo had doubled her running speed. The rest of the training had to be done again. No matter how powerful Yiqing Luo was, she was still a human. How could he endure such torment? Instructor Ho didn't say a word. Only looking at Yiqing Luo, his cold and stiff face revealed some determination. Student Yi, can you do it? Chapter 259. A person's potential was limitless. As long as she had a firm belief and will, any difficulty would not be a problem. In her previous life, Yiqing Luo had experienced much more tiring and difficult training than now. In this different world, she had no right to say no if she wanted to become stronger. As long as she persevered, what awaited her would be a bright future. I'll go to the training ground first. After that, Yiqing Luo lifted her heavy footsteps and walked towards the direction of the freshman training ground. Lu Xiaoyu took a breath and followed from behind. Wait for me, I'll go too. Instructor Ho stared at Yiqing Luo's departing figure and slowly narrowed his eyes. His eyes were full of admiration. Why, are you interested in this young lady? Instructor Chu walked over from behind and put one hand on Instructor Ho's shoulder. The corner of his mouth raised into a smile. Instructor Ho was expressionless, but the admiration in his eyes was obvious. I seem to see hope in her. Yes, she herself is a person full of hope. Instructor Chu chuckled. Her eyes are very firm and she also has a strong willpower. Such a student will definitely have a place in the Nirvana realm in the future. They had been teaching freshmen for decades, and this was the first time they met a freshman like Yiqing Luo. She was obviously arrogant, but this was a temperament that belonged solely to her. It would only make people appreciate her flamboyance more and more. From Yiqing Luo, they could see the light of hope. It seemed that there was nothing in this world that could trouble her. After a set of double the training, Yiqing Luo had completely overdrawn all her physical strength. Immediately, Yiqing Luo fell on the training ground. Her limbs were wide open, and she was panting heavily. Her vision was almost black. Her whole body was heavy and exhausted, completely not like her own body. A group of freshmen who were sweating all looked at this strong-willed woman. Ordinary women, no matter how hard and tired they were, would try their best to maintain the characteristics of a woman in front of everyone. Who would be like Yiqing Luo, directly lying on the ground, completely ignoring the gaze of others. Especially, Yiqing Luo was covered in sweat, lying on the ground damn charming. Even the female students couldn't stop their little hearts from thumping nonstop. Yiqing Luo closed her eyes as she quietly adjusted her breathing, allowing her body and mind to completely relax. The after effects of overexerting his strength appeared in every muscle of his body. Her entire body was aching, and it was difficult for her to even raise her hand. Suddenly his face turned cold. She abruptly opened her eyes, and was met with a pair of indifferent eyes. Have a cup of water. The young man was holding the cup, and placed it on Yiqing Luo's face. Seeing that she had opened her eyes, he passed the cup to Yiqing Luo. It was Qi Yijing. Yiqing Luo didn't stand on ceremony, as she received the cup, and drained it in one gulp. After double the training, her mouth was already dry, but her body was so tired that she didn't want to move even half a finger. Why are you working so hard? Training has to be done step by step, right? Qi Yijing glanced at Yiqing Luo. He was curious why this woman would work so hard to complete all the training. She was already the most outstanding one among all the new students. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.